end up saying,
Will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan with one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
For more than 50 years, Delaware Valley homeowners have called Oliver for their heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, Oliver's expert plumbers can handle that. No power, outdated electrical panel, Oliver's licensed electricians can help. No AC, Oliver has same-day service, flexible financing, and the industry's best warranties. For fast service you can trust, call Oliver today or visit online at oliverheatcool.com.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, VH1, TLC, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR, so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere, for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Using credit cards could soon become a hassle in Pennsylvania. Some in the legislature are considering a multi-million-dollar giveaway to corporate megastores and may force you to pay for parts of your purchase in cash, while small businesses will have to manage an accounting nightmare. This mandate could also expose information about the private purchases you make. Prevent credit card chaos at guardyourcard.com/Pennsylvania. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Before we get, though, to SCOTUS, the big decision coming down, break that down. The headline of the weekend to me, the Babylon Bee. Remember the Babylon Bee? Whatever happened to the Onion? I think they're still out there. Babylon Bee has taken over. Joe Biden refuses to drop out of presidential race. That was the headline over the weekend. Yes. I love that. Edith Wilson may have been pulling strings. She was pulling strings behind the scenes when Wilson had a stroke. But this is much more than Edith Wilson. This is no babe in the woods. This is a crazed woman now who wants to run the country. Joe Biden, come hell or high water. She and Hunter Biden were the loudest voices saying, hell no, we won't go at Camp David. I told you it's going to be hard to get him out of here. And they want to fire his advisors. Imagine coming in trying to pump this guy up for the next debate, which I don't think there is going to be one. And they're going to go nuts. So Trump's a coward, not doing a debate. We'll see. All right. But the Supreme Court decision, as we said, for the last umpteen number of days is big, but a bit of and has very practical consequences, but a bit of as I told you, tepid decision. They were not going to give absolute immunity to any president, right? They're not going to do that. It's crazy. And they weren't going to say a president has no immunity for official acts. I think the Wall Street Journal got it best. They hit it best what this means. That a president has, in their words, Wall Street Journal, significant immunity for official acts and also has a presumption around official acts, or a presumption that it is official act, unless it's pretty, obvious. In other words, in gray areas, jump balls, we're going to go with the president on this. Now, that's important because it's a big deal going forward to try to cut down on the lawfare, and that was in the back of their minds. Now, on the one hand, overall, I wish the Supreme Court had been the one that set up a metric to determine what is an official act and what is a private act. I mean, some are really obvious. I think what they're saying, Roberts is a minimalist. I know it's maddening. I think what they're saying, though, is that we'll know it when we see it. Remember that Supreme Court decision about pornography? You know it when you see it. That's what they actually said. So it'll be a fact-based thing that goes on here to determine this. But by going back to the lower court, hard to say how much time that might take to come up with some metric around these acts. Also, my read is, and Greg Jarrett's going to be here at 2 o'clock, I think this knocks out a couple of the charges in the so-called January 6th case by Jack Smith. I think it knocks a couple of them out. I think they go away. So is he going to be able to break it off and not continue to pursue all this? That's not his usual MO. How about the judge chomping at the bit in Washington? She told the Trump people once the decks were cleared, she'd give them 90 days to prepare. Well, it's hard to say, and I don't know if Greg Jarrett will know. Does that mean after the lower court decides? The lower court could take months. Then 90 days onto that would take us past the election. If the clock starts ticking anytime soon, it would take us into October. Can you imagine? And Andy McCarthy over the weekend, I saw him asked by Trey Gowdy. He said, look, it's ridiculous what Alvin Bragg has done here in New York. But on paper, there are 34 felonies. He can't see Judge Marchand not giving home confinement to Trump. Now, if Trump is appealing on that, which he will, I don't know if the home confinement sticks or not. So we still have that coming up just days away on July 11th. But the core of this, and in the big picture politically, this is a good thing. Of course, here's Van Jones, has 3, and this is how Democrats are going to continue to spin this. It's an all-out attack on the Supreme Court again. What, by fair terms, the Supreme Court this time, I think it did tilt toward my point of view, maybe your point of view, but that free speech thing with the Facebook case and all, it tilted toward Biden. This was not a court. It tilted toward them on the abortion drug and the other abortion case. This is not a court that was tilting toward Trump, but here's Van Jones sounding what's the battle cry today.
They say, go through the whole process and you come back up here. Then they wait 60 plus days past the buzzer to give us this decision. The way it's structured, this thing is going to ping pong back and forth for 3 or 4 more years maybe. It seems like they're doing Donald Trump a favor when they don't have to. The ruling does seem to be much more concerned about unleashing the presidency than constraining the presidency. That's fine, except that there's a different balance here. Now you're concerned about a renegade president. Are you concerned about a renegade president prosecuting someone unfairly after the fact or acting like a rogue or a thug in office? It's not clear what's the greater threat to the republic, and it doesn't seem like the majority really has taken as seriously the concern of half the country about renegade presidencies in the office. I think the Supreme Court is hurting itself. There was, I believe, a way to come to a better outcome, a quicker outcome, an outcome that better balanced the interests here. What I think people are going to take away from this, Donald Trump has a Supreme Court that will let him do whatever he wants to, and that is terrifying.
Ugh. All along, he was being balanced, back and forth. Then at the end, they're just in the tank for him, the Supreme Court.
There it is.
Yep. All right, so 855-839-1210. This is a big moment, to put it mildly. The outcomes are not just about, I think the Supreme Court was thinking about lawfare. They're tired and they're afraid we'll get into this cycle of one president going after another president for actions in office. And the one often cited is Obama killing American citizens with the drone attacks. Would that be something he could be charged with? I think it was an official act as president. around that. I don't see how Obama could be charged with that, nor do I think Trump should be charged with any of these. And what Jack Smith, when we get to that, what he has to prove is that Trump was in a criminal state of mind here with his actions around trying to overturn or get a fair result from the election. In other words, he actually thinks he can prove Trump knew he lost, and yet he, in a fraudulent way, went forward with putting the country through all these trials and all these other things. Now, if you can get inside the mind of Trump, if you're going to convince a jury, now maybe they're thinking, hey, we'll have another layup jury just like in New York. Washington's even worse. We tell them Trump, and they think, hey, he's a criminal. He definitely was doing this. He knew he lost, and that did not stop him from going forward. I have a whole list of the things in the January 6th case that just give you an idea if it goes to trial in the way that we're talking about. Pressured state legislators and election officials to disregard the popular vote. Remember when he called the Georgia guy and he said, find me 13,000 votes out there? That's common, all around the world and close, and that's close. People call up and say, you got to go out there. You got to find me more votes. Does that mean you have to cheat? Well, in Philadelphia, it's, of course, but it just means you're going to have to scour this. You're going to have to fight more on this. We only need a little bit here to win. So this is a big win. Again, I'd rather see it in the hands of the Supreme Court, a little bit more language on the metric of what is an official act and what's a private act here. Most of these acts, the Trump people are going to argue, and we'll ask Greg Jarrett at 2 o'clock, where in fulfilling his duties, they're going to argue, as President of the United States, to be able to have the election certified, you got to make sure the election was on the up and up. And then we'll get into parsing these actions. Were those official actions to guarantee that, or was that just Trump trying to do anything to remain in power? That's where a finding of fact comes in. That's what the Supreme Court unleashed. So it is significant immunity. And my one thought today, and I'll talk about this more after the initial burst on this, I want presidents to have immunity. I think any reasonable person does. Just like I want cops to have qualified immunity. Remember how many times they want to take that away from cops? You know what it would be like being a cop if you didn't have qualified immunity? Meaning, you have immunity. People just can't up and sue you because they feel like to entangle you, to intimidate you. But you don't have immunity if you clearly violate the law. There's got to be a clear line here. And that's what this is about. Now, Sotomayor, in her dissent, of course, said we've just gone down the path of making the president the king again and all that. I don't read it that way, particularly from Roberts. It's very minimal. So does Sotomayor, do the other liberal judges want to have this constant lawfare of the next administration going after the previous? Is that what they want? Trump did not go after Hillary Clinton. I know some of you would like that. Now, I agree with Trump on that. He made a smart move not going down that path. Now, you can argue, well, if he had gone after her, maybe they wouldn't have come after him. I don't know about that. I think they were going to come after him no matter what. All right, 855-839-1210, you get on board. The other big story, of course, is the potential exit from the race of the Bidens, which I've been predicting. Now, at any moment, I could be the loser, you could be the winner, but who all along has been saying, are you kidding me? Guess who the rising star is now? Not Joshi Shapiro, but they're calling her Big Gretch. Big Gretch.
Big Gretch.
Gretchen Whitmer, that nutbag.
Are they really calling her that? They just make that up.
No, they're calling her
that. Oh,
that.
My gosh, it's a terrible nickname.
They put stuff out there. She has advanced teams. Big Gretch wants in. They're saying stuff like this. Big Gretch.
Big Gretch.
Big Gretch.
Yeah, sounds like an insult.
It does. But she just looks bizarre. And some of her actions, some of the things she did during COVID, oh, my goodness. Imagine her duking it out with Newsom and Josh Shapiro and Kamala Harris. And by the way, over the weekend, several people said what I'm saying. You think you're getting Kamala Harris out there? What are you talking about? Come on. All right. We're just going to make her disappear. That's what some of you told me. Side question today. Exits. Happen to see this. Yeah, happen to see this on Twitter. The guy on Twitter was asking for the all-time great character exit. In other words, when a character left the scene in a TV or a film, the exit, the way they went out. So I'm going to take Terminator, the exit when the Terminator took one for the team and had to keep the other Terminator into the boiling pit and died himself. And I think there was a thumbs up there or something as Schwarzenegger was going in. And my favorite exit, Dead Poets Society. When Robin Williams' character is leaving, and in defiance of the headmaster, all these kids stand on top of the desk and recite some poetry that the guy didn't like. It's quite an ending scene. Quite a film, too. How about you, Dan? Do you have an exit?
Behind us, we hear the exit, which I think is the exit of Tony Soprano.
Okay.
I know it's debatable, but in the finale, you have the fade to black with this song,
Yep.
and I think he's dead. So, you know,
No, I don't think so. David Chase wouldn't do that.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Keep it alive for a
Keep it
potential.
alive. Yeah.
And how about I like this one because of the real nature of it, because you're watching the entire series, Dom, and we often talk about this, and he's the main character or one of the main characters of the series, and then he dies, and he's just this afterthought in the newspaper, and the entire exit of his character is just fantastic. That Omar in The Wire.
And Omar has been voted top 100 characters the last 30, 40, 50 years. Anti-hero, he's always in the top 10. He's
a
a
great
unique
one.
character. He's the most unique character, probably, and that's saying something.
Well, he's like
in The
Robin
Wire.
Hood. He steals from the rich, gives to the poor.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. Give me your reaction now to this. Does it mean that Trump is home free as far as not having a trial before the election? I'd say 95%. We're seeing it that way. Not only that, all these, you have to think, the other day, the Supreme Court, the Fisher case, which we'll get into today, that's the case involving the January 6th defendants that was lessened greatly, the original charges. All these are going to build up in the public mind. Yeah, what is it that Trump really did? Now, I don't know how this will impact the Bragg sentencing or the Bragg case, but I've seen some legal scholars today saying it could. Trump did these before he was president, so I'm not exactly sure. But his defense team apparently is going to bring this up. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Don't forget, Mulligan's just 2 days away.
Woo!
We have Jeff Van Drew. We have the Republican candidate for the Senate.
Curtis Bashaw making an appearance, Dom.
Exactly, yes. And he's a well-dressed guy, too. He's like a multi-millionaire.
So you wearing a
yes.
suit?
No, I'm still not going to do that.
No, not a suit, just a tuxedo instead?
Yeah, and probably a tuxedo and then change out of that. It's going to be multiple changes at Mulligan's.
Pocket square?
Pocket square. Oh, you got to, with these guys.
No,
yeah.
I mean, is it okay to wear a suit without a pocket square?
Yeah, I don't always wear one.
No?
No.
Does the pocket square have to match the tie?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah. So all that happening at 310 West Hill Drive.
Questions there, sorry.
Yes, on this Wednesday. Big day, a lot of fun. And apparently not the worst travel day. They say the worst time to travel is all the way to looking at July 8th in the morning, because everybody in the world is going to be coming back from July 4th. That's how long we're 7 days out, and we're talking one holiday. America's gone nuts. It's a 7-day holiday now.
Well, I think it's similar to like a stadium at a sporting event. You got the staggered entrance, so there's not many lines, but when you're trying to leave and everyone's leaving at the same time, you got to wait in the line and down the stairs, and I feel like that's what traffic's going to be after July 4th weekend.
It's going to be that Monday around 8 o'clock. Don't be traveling then. All right. Stick down there at Mulligan's. Just drink through the holidays.
Yes.
That's all you have to do with Johnny. You'll be entertained. 855-839-1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Everyone in an election for President of the United States will critically examine all of the issues and make a decision.
There you go.
So if you've wondered how elections work, everybody kind of sits down and they take their notes and they look at the issues and they say, okay, I like this issue, or this guy was better with that policy. And then you go to the ballots on election day, or you do a mail-in ballot or an absentee or whatever you might do, and you make your choice.
Imagine that.
How elections work with Kamala Harris, coming up tonight at 7 on PBS.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
How would you like to finally lose all those unwanted pounds quickly without spending thousands on painful injections or prescriptions? Hi, it's Donna Simpson, health and wellness expert. You probably know someone that is using Ozempic, the hottest diet craze in the country. Everyone knows about this prescription injection. Celebs use it to look their best. The problem is most of us can't afford Ozempic, and these injections can be so uncomfortable. Now you can lose the weight just as easily, but with no needles, no expensive prices, no side effects, and no worries. You need to try Lozempic, a new miracle weight loss breakthrough that performs so well it's been called nature's Ozempic. Lozempic is an easy-to-take diet pill now available without a prescription, being used by thousands to get rid of those unwanted pounds. So call now and find out how to get a free bottle.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Lozempic, call 800-686-2430, 800-686-2430. Free bottles for limited time, so call 800-686-2430. That's 800-686-2430.
LifeSurge is coming to Reading on Saturday, July 13th. Be inspired and equipped to grow your financial resources for Kingdom Impact, featuring leaders in faith and finance, including two-time National Football Champion Tim Tebow, Life Without Limbs Nick Vujicic, Duck Dynasty's Willie Robertson, football legend Brian Dawkins, pastor and author Craig Groeschel, plus worship artists Natalie Grant and Matthew West. That's LifeSurge, Saturday, July 13th. Tickets on sale at lifesurge.com.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in. So, writing down my playlist sheet today, I happen to only highlight usually. You can't highlight all of them. That means everything on here was important. I have 11 items from the weekend. I only highlighted 2 of them. One I'll get to later. Item number 2, the Inquirer says a former president should withdraw. That's President Trump. They said he should withdraw. People around the country are like, are they nuts? What the? We'll get to that. Here's number 11, though. The president, they saw his phone, people following him, I guess on Sunday this might have been, was calling around to see how people felt about going forward. And his call screen indicated historian Michael Breschel. No.
Oh, no.
No, the big guy of the historians. Michael Breschel.
Can I make a guess?
Yes.
Wrong coin.
No, John Meacham. Meacham. That's who he's talking. Can you imagine this idiot probably pumping him up? You're FDR. Blank them. Go and get him.
We want to pump. You are.
You've been saying it. Yeah. John Meacham. Now, we told you about this. I don't think enough shows emphasize it. Maybe I overdo it. Biden first few weeks, historians. One of them was the guy that ran against Fitzpatrick. That guy who lives on a golf course in South Africa and wanted to be the congressman from Bucks County. Wallace. His grandfather was Henry Wallace, who, thank God, he was the VP choice in 1940, Dan, and got chunked for 1944. He was a communist by most accounts. He would have been president if FDR didn't do that. So this is one of the advisors to Biden, and then the Beschloss guy, and a bunch of these, Doris Kearns Goodwin. But Meacham is the big guy. So that's who he's calling, John Meacham. Probably said, Mr. President, there have been, you're Andrew Jackson now. Take out the saber. You see Biden. But one thing has come out of this. This, Dan, you mentioned, you have a story in Alan Lichtman.
I figured while we're talking historians, why not?
Oh, yeah, we'll play him in a second. But this guy's gone down this time, Dan. This is the guy who was never wrong about picking the presidential winner. They say only once, but he's only picked it 7 or 8 times. I think I picked it. Most people listening have picked it. Dukakis, George W. Bush. You couldn't pick that one?
Oh, yeah, right?
Most of these are not close. Reagan, Mondale, you couldn't see that one coming. Reagan, Carter, they were blowouts. Alan Lichtman says debates don't count. This won't count at all. And he's still sticking to his pick. He's picking Joe Biden. Oh, this is going to be fun. So here's a historian and wrong guy, Alan Lichtman, saying CNN was biased for Trump.
I love you guys in the media, but I have to say you are complicit in Donald Trump lying and conning his way to the presidency. All the attention has been on Biden's faltering debate, but Donald Trump's debate was vastly worse. It was based entirely on lies, more than 30 significant lies. That's one lie for about every 1 minute and 20 and 30 seconds. He threatened our democracy by saying he wouldn't accept necessarily the results of a fair election. He said he would seek retribution. Why wasn't that the headlines? Why wasn't that the greatest concern from the debate, rather than all the focus on Joe Biden? There's an old saying, it's not just the evil people who wreak havoc on the world. It's the good people who don't do enough to stop them. And the media right now is complicit in Donald Trump gaslighting his way to the presidency and threatening our democracy.
And this is the go-to clown, Dan, as I said, that always predicts who's going to win the elections. So, I think
very unbiased.
I think we could get him on. I'd let it go for a minute and a half. Tell me more, and then bang, just you're wrong, and you're going to be wrong this time. Ro Khanna, who is smart. Now, this guy's willing to come on Fox and whatever. He's a progressive, a Bernie Sanders guy. A Democrat from California said that Biden remained best positioned to lead the Democratic Party. He's a frequent Biden surrogate. Here's what he suggests, Dan. If they do this, we're going to have fun. Thank you for the show fodder, Ro Khanna. I don't think I dug this one out. He wants Biden to do an appearance, a rally running up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art to invoke the image of Stallone in Rocky.
Yeah, right.
He says that Rocky wasn't...
Seriously?
Jim Kelly, are you there? Be ready, buddy. Rocky wasn't the most eloquent, but he was a fighter. His eloquence was his character. I think that's the line we need to use, that Biden's eloquence is his character. What do you have to say about that, Rock?
Joe Biden, he's a dumb guy, you know what I mean? They're trying to blame Trump for everything over here, This is bad. A while back, they would blame Donald Trump right now for Apollo Creed dying. You know that? Because, like Drago, they would blame Trump to say, hey,
the
Trump,
Russians.
Trump said, hey, you know what, Drago, why don't you go in there and just punch this guy's lights out? You know what I mean? And he would also blame Trump because of what Paul did to me in Rocky V. But you know what? It also blamed Donald Trump for Rocky V, period. You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah. Well, Tommy Gunn gets the
Biden can't even shuffle downstairs without his wife.
Imagine?
How can he shuffle up him by himself?
It's Donald Trump's fault that Mick died, Not Mr. T. It's Donald Trump's fault that Mick died.
But Ro Khanna, can you imagine Biden doing it on the steps, Dan? And he pretend jogs behind Jill Biden as she's talking. Rocky wasn't eloquent either. Rocky got a sentence out.
I always have thoughts, like, when I see tourists run up those steps, isn't the entire purpose of the steps, though, after a long run down the drive, and then you're finally getting to the steps, and you finally accomplish the big task at the end of the thing? Is Biden going to be running down the drive, too?
I would say, though, those steps are not easy to be running up. I'm telling you.
Yeah?
Yeah, it takes a lot of coordination.
Like a field trip for the Dom show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you'd have people out there.
I could imitate Rocky as I'm running up the steps.
Right.
There you go.
Can you imagine Ro Khanna? Dan, I bet it's even money they're thinking about doing this. Yeah, Rocky.
Have you ever ran up the steps?
No. But
I feel like a lot of people in Philadelphia have never done it. And I have no desire to do it.
I did a CNN event at the top of the steps, so there wasn't any running involved that I remember. And I've done the Komen breast cancer thing
Gotcha.
like 10 straight years, and I've never seen Everett Dell run up the steps. This is even years ago. I don't know how he got up there. Yeah. All right, so 855-839-1210, you get in. A lot of reaction to this. Coming up, we're going to talk with Mark Lotter. Mark is the communications director for America First. And this outfit, this pack and group that Trump has put together, is doing a brilliant job. He formerly was chief executive for Mike Pence. We'll find out what he thinks about it. Side question. Exits. Will the Bidens exit? I'm still saying no. Now, you guys betting on the other side, you have the advantage. I still got to kill, 6 months here, Dan? Coming up on 6 months. No, 5 months. Coming up on 5 months. But I've been right so far.
Have you readjusted at all, though, over the weekend?
No, I see it even more. People are making my case.
Doubling down?
Yeah, the real insiders are saying, are you crazy? How are you getting around Kamala? You just think you're going to flick Kamala Harris away? I'm still telling you, she's one thing. She's identity politics. You're not flicking that away.
The biggest argument I've heard in favor of Kamala at this point now is that the funding, the only way for their campaign funding to transfer from one candidate to another is if it's Kamala Harris. So now I think that 100% underlines what you're saying. They can't just push her aside because they lose all their funding.
Let's check on that. That is a good factoid there. Yeah. And again, I'm a big believer in vetting. In other words, a lot of people, like you think that Newsom has been vetted. And that's not like presidential vetting, Dan. Suddenly, 2,000 or 3,000 guys that are crazed are on every follicle of that hair. All right, 855-839-1210. You get a line. So we'll talk with Mark. Take your calls, too, next. And we'll talk with Greg Jarrett at 2 o'clock today when things have kind of solidified a little bit. All straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210. Let's talk, though, first about Rescue Natural Supplements is having a sale of epic proportions in honor of Independence Day. Now through July 4th, use the code FREEDOM to snag 45% off 4 or more of your favorite products. You can mix and match single bottles, boost your heart health, strengthen immunity, lift energy levels, or try an all-natural sleep aid. To order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a rescue product consultant. Or shop online at res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Never too late or too early to fortify your body and health. Rescue's Independence Day sale ends Thursday, July 4th, so don't miss out. Remember, shop res-q.com. Use that code FREEDOM, FREEDOM, F-R-E-E-D-O-M. The code is FREEDOM for 45% off 4 or more single bottles. Do it today.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Hey, this is Ray Didinger. I had the opportunity to open the new Joe Conklin show. It was sensational. It includes all the impressions, Iverson, Merrill and Mike, Barkley. They brought in this whole musical component with a full orchestra. It's really good. His daughter Casey's part of it, his brother's part of it. They can rock it, boy. So you got all the music, plus you got all the comedy. It's a great night.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at the Ocean City Music Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey on Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
Summer's here, and it's time to tackle that to-do list. With an American Heritage Cash Reward MasterCard, get up to 3% cash back at home improvement stores, groceries, and pharmacies. And when the chores are done, treat yourself to a well-deserved vacation, earning 2% cash back on travel, hotels, and ride shares, and 1% on everything else you buy. Apply today at AmericanHeritageCU.org/credit cards. Subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A very comfortable air mass with low humidity for early July will be in place over the next few days. Expect sun and clouds and breezy today with a high temperature below average at 82. Tonight, mostly clear and pleasant, low 64. And for Tuesday, mostly sunny and warmer but not humid with a high 85.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. If you drive a car, you want it to last a long time and not cost you lots of money in the long run. You need to get your car serviced at United Tire and Service. I get my car serviced at one of their 10 locations throughout the Delaware Valley. You should too. Right now, get an oil change on any maker model, and they'll do a free summer trip check so you're ready to hit the road. 20-point safety check, brakes, belts, important fluid levels, lights, even the spare tire. To find the location nearest you, go to UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Mark Lauder, our guest, Chief Communications Officer at America First Policy Institute, has held positions like that, including the 2020 campaign, including originally with Vice President Mike Pence. And the Biden situation is tremendously volatile. Let's go to Mark, see what he's thinking today on a huge news day. Mark, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, nice, calm, easy Monday. No big news going on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we were not, I would say we were a bit that it finally blew up in the debate. Not shocked because we all saw it, but that they couldn't cover it up. And I guess, Mark, when we saw Biden at the State of the Union and you felt that he was using Adderall or something else and screaming it all, you can't do that in a debate, though. There's no teleprompter. There's no cheering. You're asked a question, but my God, it was below the level I thought. I thought he'd be able to cover it a little bit more.
Well, that's the problem. Without the teleprompter, you've got to do rapid response. You've got to listen to what the moderator is asking or the opponent is saying, formulate your answer, come up with your statistics, and try to make a coherent statement in under 2 minutes. And it proved to be too much for Joe Biden. And I think this is the thing that the American people should be most upset about. It wasn't that long ago, 2-3 weeks ago, we were being told that, Joe Biden's decline is a cheap fake. These videos are false. It's just a big right-wing conspiracy theory. And they've been saying that for a year. And yet we find out, oh, wait a minute, just like the Hunter Biden laptop, a lie. Just like Russiagate, a lie. I mean, how many times do the Democrats and their mainstream media apparatus get away with lying to us before we finally just go, you know what, I'm done listening to you?
Yeah, but I think the media now, by and large, is on a surge after they pull the wool over, try to get him out of there. I've been in the camp, Mark. I got trucks of pizza bets here. They're loaded up that Biden will never make it to the finish line of the election. I don't see him going anywhere with Jill Biden and Hunter Biden and the rest egging him on. So deep down, your vast government experience, communications, do you see Biden dropping out?
No, not in any way, shape, or form. Number one, he's wanted this job his entire life. This is the fourth time he's run for it. The last time was the fourth time he had run for it. Number two, obviously, when you have that power, you don't give it up. And I don't think there's any chance because obviously, what's Hunter going to sell if Joe Biden's not in the White House? They got nothing left. Yeah. But lastly, here's the actual real political calculus. Democrats are bleeding black voters. The most recent polling, New York Times, Siena, Fox News, have Donald Trump getting about 25% of the black vote. That is triple the amount he got in 2016. It's primarily coming, not exclusively, but primarily coming from black men. If Joe Biden steps down and they don't nominate Kamala Harris, who, by the way, is even more unpopular than Joe Biden, if that's even possible, but it is. If they don't nominate her, black women, they may not vote for Trump. They may just stay home.
Exactly.
Because you disrespected the first woman black vice president. And if that happens, not only are you going to go down in spectacular defeat to the White House, which is looking more likely every day, but you're taking down the House, the Senate, governorships, Senate races. You cannot. They're already losing black support. They're losing Hispanic support because their policies are so bad. And if you add disrespect on top of that, you're looking at a complete wipeout, and they won't do it.
No, that's the way that I see it, too. I think everybody is not looking at the political reality of Kamala Harris. She was in there as identity politics squared. And if she were jumped over, that's her career right there. She knows that. Everybody knows it. And I think you're right, particularly black women, Mark, with her. And what would somebody like Clyburn do? Would he just jettison? I don't think they would go that easily.
Well, and even if you get Clyburn and some of the other in the Black Caucus to get on board and say we're fine with it, there's still a level of disrespect there. I mean, people are already ignoring the elites, and hopefully more and more Democrats are seeing through the lies and the gaslighting because, you can't afford your gas and grocery bills. The border is wide open. Women and girls are being raped and killed by illegal immigrants, so much for being the party of women. So you've been lied to over and over again. And then when you see this, well, am I either going to accept the lie one more time, or am I maybe just going to sit on my hands and go, you know what, it's time that they feel the outcome, the wrath of what we feel, and so be it. And I think you get a lot of Democrats right now who are waking up to the reality of their policies stink.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people are hurting.
Now, Dr. Jill Biden is on our neck of the wood, not too far from me in Allentown, 2 o'clock today, First Lady, Congressional Hispanic Caucus. I don't know that she's the best surrogate, as much as I think Biden will stay, in that a lot of Americans are saying, wow, your wife is the one that should stop this.
Well, there's a lot of people who are saying that she's the only one that can stop this.
Yeah.
If she tells him it's time to go, and that's why I think you have a lot of people out there questioning, is this elder abuse? Could you imagine doing this to your husband or someone that you love and your family member, and keep putting them out there when they're clearly not up to the job? I mean, that CBS poll come out yesterday. 3/4 of the American people, including more than a majority of Democrats, think Joe Biden doesn't have it mentally to be able to continue to do the job. That's devastating.
Yeah, let's talk about Mark Lauder with us. Mark, let's talk about today's decision, the immunity decision. Democrats trying to run against the Supreme Court again, even though, as I predicted and thought, it's pretty limited, but they're striking in big terms. We haven't gotten to particular metrics here. We don't like this lawfare. We don't want one administration going after another. We have impeachment as a mechanism. We want presidents to be able to make a decision without fear they're going to go to jail.
And that's what we should want.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the really important points is, number one, in the ruling, it basically said the courts are not allowed to try to determine a president's motive in determining whether something is an official act or a non-official act. I mean, because look, you and I both know Joe Biden's amnesty order from a couple of weeks ago on the border, it was about politics. It was about the campaign. And even though it's probably likely illegal, you can't question his motive when determining whether someone should be criminally prosecuted. And I would argue you shouldn't try to criminally prosecute Joe for that horrible amnesty decision, which isn't going to work. But because even though it was political in motive, well, it was an official act. Well, where do you draw the line? And that's what the court was trying to determine. They also said you can't use presidential records or staff or those kinds of things to determine a president's motive. You need to basically be able to say he was acting in his official capacity or in a non-official capacity, and that's what the court was trying to determine. They also said you can't use presidential records or staff or those kinds of things to determine a president's motive. You need to basically be able to say he was acting in his official capacity or in a non-official capacity, or in a non-official capacity, So huge win for the president, for President Trump. But I would also say huge win for future presidents.
Absolutely, and you characterize it very well there, that they are really saying the presumption is very strongly going to be with the president in this manner, not making him a king. As long as it's an official act, this is what we want presidents to be able to do. And I think we'll get better at people wanting to run for president if they don't have a fear of constantly what we're seeing play out now. Mark, thank you. Thanks for the great work you do. Hope we talk again soon.
Absolutely look forward to it.
Mark Lauder here on Talk Radio 1210. The last couple of things he said there, Dan, were key, too. Can't be using staff and all that to impugn the president to get at him in this way. Clearly not wanting more lawfare. All right, coming up, I have the number. I'll give it to you, though. We just saw it from the guru of Bucks County. He's going to be on at 1:30, but I'll tell you, what's the number this week? How many are left in the blue wall? Boy, it's not even a blue wall. It's not even a blue trickle, Dan, out there in Bucks County that's left. Is it 1, 2? You may remember last week it was 537, the edge they had in Democrat registration over Republicans. What is it now? All right, and Scott Presler, giant number. I like the way he makes his sevens, too. All right, I'll give you the number. We'll take your calls. Don't forget the side question. Hit us with an all-time exit by a character. I like Michael Scott's exit, the first exit anyhow, in The Office. It was beautifully done. They captured the essence of how the character had evolved when he was going home to Holly. Hit us with that all-time exit by a character. Mark Lauder agrees with me. We'll see. You may be right. All those times. Oh, come on, he's gone. Is he? You think Jill Biden? Oh, I can hardly wait to see if she compares anyone to breakfast burritos in Allentown. Remember she did that in San Antonio?
That's right.
Will she speak in Spanish and say, I am a jelly donut or something? You know, anything's possible. But 855-839-1210, that's how you get on board on Talk Radio 1210.
Join Team Kale and Company once again this year for the Bend to Shore Bike Tour on Sunday, July 21st. From Philly to Atlantic City, you can do the ride or just donate to support the cause. Visit bendtoshore.org. That's shore.org. Let's show everyone how WPHT and Odyssey supports law enforcement. Bend to Shore is organized by Families Behind the Badge Children's Foundation. FBBCF provides financial relief for the families of fallen and injured first responders and supports the Police Youth Alliance, which fosters a positive relationship between police and youth. Sponsored by Gelman Law. Need a criminal defense attorney or personal injury? Visit GelmanLawFirm.com.
How did your son or daughter do in school this year? These summer months is the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Prepare your student for back to school now. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders like high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Help your students start strong. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Using credit cards could soon become a hassle in Pennsylvania. Some in the legislature are considering a multi-million-dollar giveaway to corporate megastores and may force you to pay for parts of your purchase in cash, while small businesses will have to manage an accounting nightmare. This mandate could also expose information about the private purchases you make. Prevent credit card chaos at guardyourcard.com/Pennsylvania. paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
There's only one place to get that perfect custom gift for your special someone. Cozy Jewelers' family-owned and operated showroom in Newtown Square. See their 5 C's in person. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and of course, the Cozy touch. If you have something unique in mind, Cozy will help you customize your piece with all work done in-house, so you always walk away with that unparalleled Cozy quality. For your custom jewelry, stop by Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square or online at cozyjewelers.com and step up to the 5th C.
Need new furniture? You need Bucks County Estate Traders 4th of July sale. Now through July 6th, everything store-wide is 20% off. Select patio and garden furniture 75% off. High-end, name brand and vintage, mid-century, antique European and American furniture, more than 10,000 items in stock. Bucks County Estate Traders has it all. So save big through July 6th at their showroom in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano weekdays noon till 3. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
All right, each week around this time, we are pleased, and we probably only have 2 more weeks left, to tell you what the heck is the daily number out there in Bucks County. Scott Presler will be on at 1:30 today. The new number, last week it was 537 Democrat registrations over Republicans. Today, it's down to 357. 357. 200 down. So at this rate, or anything approaching this rate, I feel pretty safe that on July 15th, we'll be able to announce that Bucks County is red. And that just will be a big day. That's what Presler gets. Incrementalism. Picking a target, freezing it, inspiring people to realize how winnable this is right here in the suburbs, which will determine potentially winning America. And I'm wondering, Josh Shapiro's name is out there a lot, along with Big Gretch. That's what they're calling her now, Big Gretch. Newsom. Kamala Harris, you heard Mark Lotter. I agree with him. How are you getting around her? But Big Gretch might be able to.
Gretch.
And will Shapiro now, Dan, make a splash? He's got the masquerade on as a moderate again. Other than he shakes your hand, I'm here to protect your abortion rights. I don't think they need any protection. I'm protecting your abortion rights. Will he go for school choice? It'll be a big, we're in the throat. They're supposed to have a budget today. Of course, they don't have a budget. Why quibble with what the law is in Harrisburg? And the hang-up is all the money towards schools that these progressives want, billions and billions of dollars versus school choice. Will he, remember the last time he was on board with that, then they wouldn't do it, and he had to back Democrats against kids. Will he this time do it to kind of further him? And by the way, if they, think about this, if they went for somebody other than Kamala Harris, or even if they do go with Harris, they need a VP choice then. So he could be in the running for that. Because I don't see 2 from one state. Kamala and Gavin Newsom, I could see Josh Shapiro, or they can have an all All-time ticket. Imagine these two. Kamala and the Big Gretch. Now that is big stuff. All right. So 357 over.
I can't believe they're really calling her that.
Yeah, if you Google it, I saw that she sent teams of people out there, and they put out this victory thing, the Big Gretch. Yes. All right. So it's 855-839-1210. That's how you can get on board. And Dan found this piece, and we're trying to track it to lock it down, that Biden's campaign manager had a call Sunday with about 40 of his top donors. NBC News reported. If Biden stepped aside, his war chest would get redistributed. The lion's share would go to Kamala Harris, with a smaller amount going to the DNC. So, Dan, I don't take that's a rule or a law as much as that's where they would I'm not sure if there's some DNC rule. That's where that money would have to go. Wow.
It just seems odd to go directly to Kamala rather than back to the party, you know?
Yeah, bark to the DNC, then they give it to the nominee when that's out
so
there.
Reading between the lines, what I see now is that Kamala would have to not only surrender her power, but surrender her money.
Yeah.
And step aside. It's a big ask.
Exactly right. And over the weekend, Nancy Pelosi told us Joe Biden doesn't have dementia, but Trump does. She said experts say that Trump has dementia. So they are in a bad place now. I'm in no hurry. Each day that Biden stays on there weakens them because he's not going to be able to win in the end. It's going to be hard to get him out of there. And they can't put anybody else in there to get any traction. Not that they necessarily, I mean, all these people on paper look great. You've heard this before, right? Everybody's saying run to a person, run for president. And then when they do, oh, my God, the baggage that comes out, suddenly it's not as attractive. That's what will happen to Newsom. That's what will happen to Gretchen Whitmer within a heartbeat.
I mean, if they float a Supreme Court seat in front of Kamala, though.
Oh, we've been down. She's not a legal scholar,
No?
Dan. She's just not. No, there's no way.
Do Democrats care if she's a legal scholar?
Well, I'm not saying they care. What I'm saying is I don't
you
think
got
she
some
has any
confirmation,
interest in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a law school dropout, but I think I can hold my own in a legal moot court debate with Kamala Harris.
It's a lifetime position. We're talking 4 years versus,
Yeah.
Entire life of solidified power.
It's not much, really, for somebody. You got to really love the law. Want your name to be on big decisions out there. She's never going to be that.
Really, between the two, if you had the option between president and Supreme Court justice, you're going president?
Of course.
When it comes to power.
You're immortal. Yes.
Well, you are as a Supreme Court justice, too.
Not really. How many can you name here? Come
That's
on.
true, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask me that, please.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few that are stars, and then there's the Chief Justice. I don't even bet people listening can name 5
You're
Chief
moralized
Justices.
and memorized sometimes negatively as a president,
Yeah,
more so than
true.
Supreme Court justices.
Yeah,
I
well,
feel.
why does everybody do it? Because there's nothing like it.
And you can fall out of relevancy after 4 years, like Biden's about to.
A little bit. I mean, we even write books about presidents that are in the 20s or 30s as far as importance. So, now they kill themselves because there's nothing like it. If you're a president, it's got to be.
Can I put it up as a Twitter poll?
Yeah, sure.
I'm genuinely curious where
Yeah.
the audience.
Oh,
can
yeah,
go.
yeah.
At Dom Show 1210 on
They
Twitter.
may differ with me. I admit abnormalcy on this, but I see it clearly. But times I've been at the White House, the stuff that
Yeah.
I've seen, there's nothing like it. I mean, you're one of a kind. When you're the president today, President Borowski today, don't say Supreme Court Justice Borowski today played golf. Doesn't
we
work.
do. I mean, Supreme Court Justice Alito flew a flag upside down.
Yeah, but that's only because they're out to get him and because of Trump, who's the presidential candidate. Yeah, put that up on Twitter. I'd be interested to see what they say. All right, we'll talk with Scott Prezzer at 1:30. We'll talk with Greg Jarrett breaking down the Supreme Court decision now that we see a little bit more of it. I see some great exits up there on Twitter. Man, some of these people, unbelievable. Gus's exit in Breaking Bad. That's got to be top 10. Oh, spoiler, don't tell me about it. You should have seen it by now. When Gus walks out, straightens his tie after being blown up like nothing happened, Dan, and then they capitulate.
Yeah, then you see the face.
It was a little bit fraudulent. You can't be blown up on one side of your body, I think. But it was effective. Okay, we'll get to all that. Hit us on the side question. Don't forget Mulligan's 2 days away, 310 West Hildreth. Jeff Van Drew and a Scotch contest there. Curtis Badshaw.
What are we doing with it? Have we decided?
With
the Scotch, are you drinking?
I'll drink it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Yeah,
it's gonna be a great third hour. You're gonna want to be there at Mulligan's to see this one.
and then we have the mascot, Sea Squash. At least his handler is going to talk with me. He'll be there.
Yeah, I don't think Sea Squatch himself talks.
But I have 10 questions for, and I don't know how he communicates to the handler.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there a translator for Sea Squatch behind the scenes for the handler?
I think so.
Does the handler just know Squatch?
We'll ask him about Scotch. All right, 855.
Scotch with Squatch.
855-839-1210. Get in now.
Crash-proof consumers, like Donna McMacken, know that the double-digit interest credited to their accounts is protected and available to access without penalty.
With Crash-Proof Retirement, I know that my money is totally safe. I stand to gain and brought in 11%. That was interest credited to my account. And I have the opportunity with Crash-Proof for that to continue to compound. Even with taking my required distributions, I could withdraw crash-proof income. There are no fees charged. Even though I've been retired a number of years and I'm not making a salary, I have my investments with crash-proof, and that's making me money while I enjoy my retirement.
Only Crash-Proof Retirement can guarantee peace of mind in a legally binding, recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Bring on the summer heat with huge savings when you replace your old inefficient windows and doors with the great people at Guida Door and Window. Right now, Guida is offering their best discounts of the year with their big 40% off summer sales event on all expertly installed windows and doors. Have drafty windows you've been meaning to replace? Well, you receive 40% off each window you buy. That's right, 40% off all high-performance, energy-efficient triple-pane windows. In need of new doors? Well, Guida's got you covered there as well, with 40% off all high-quality entry doors, patio doors, garage doors, and storm doors. Plus, you can start your project with no money out of pocket and pay it off interest-free for up to 18 full months. Don't let these incredible savings pass you by. Go Guida right now so you can take advantage of these limited time savings. All prior sales excluded. Offer expires July 31st, so call Guida today. Schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, GUIDA.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
It was another violent weekend in Philadelphia. Parking officials say the city's crackdown on sidewalk parking is yielding lots of tickets, and Hurricane Beryl makes landfall in the Caribbean.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. One note, great one on Twitter. All-time character or real person exit. Given that people are saying the Bidens are going to exit, I don't think they will, but, it gives me a great angle for a side question. David Siegel, for a long-term exit on Twitter, how about Bobby Bonilla's deferred contract? Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. On this day every year,
wow,
July 1st, He gets a check, and they do a ceremony from the New York Mets. I don't have the exact figure. I know it's $1 million, like $1 million blank, $1.2 million. And I think it's a 25-year deal or something like that. There's still like umpteen years left.
$1,193,248.20.
Okay.
I love the 20 cents.
And the 20 cents.
Until 2035.
Yeah, and the reason they do it is I guess he felt he would spend it, something like that. So every year he's a millionaire again. He gets that check. Whatever happened during the rest of the year, he has that coming in 2035. Well, it's, 11 more years of this. Who knows? Does he spend it all?
I think I'm going to see more of this coming forward, too. Because you saw Ohtani do something similar, and because of the taxes that California has or places like Philadelphia, athletes don't want to take it in a lump sum and have to pay out taxes, instead taking deferred payments over time.
And I think some of them, though, realized they would spend it. And in this way, it's not burning a hole in their pocket. Allen Iverson had a deal with Adidas that's like that. I think it's a lifetime, but he didn't get it all at once. That's the only thing keeping him afloat, I think. All right. So I told you, the Philadelphia Inquirer said, and I wanted to explore this. The Philadelphia Inquirer said in their editorial, making national news over the craziness of this, in the fact, the debate about the debate is misplaced. The only person who should withdraw from the race is Trump. Philadelphia Inquirer, picture over there at the Ivory Tower. And here's the part. They go on to say, his 8 years have been marked by chaos, corruption, incivility. To build himself up, Trump constantly tears the country down. Now, think about these people. Who tears the country down more than these progressives and people like the Philadelphia Inquirer? There is no shining city on the hill. It's just mourning, M-O-U-R-N, in America.
Shinning?
That's right. Let me check the spelling. Now, they got the spelling right.
Good job.
Throughout the debate, Trump repeatedly said we're a failing country. He called the United States a third world nation. He said we're living in hell and very close to World War III. People are dying all over the place, Trump said. We're literally an uncivilized country now. Now, whether you think that's a tad much or not, here's the point. Isn't it funny when we call out what progressives have created, say in the Kennedy administration with Outlaw, Larry Krasner, et cetera, they suddenly get on their high horse and they're defending America. Would the Philadelphia Inquirer say, though, America is the greatest country in the history of the world? Would they say that American exceptionalism ought to be the rule taught in schools? I just wonder if the editorial board would agree with that. We also say that. But what we're indicating is the people that are running it now have taken something that great and they've diminished it, and they continue to diminish it. Oh, I don't know. Like the inflation rate, diminishing the average American? Is that running down the country? Is that something to overlook? It's a curious thing. Now, you can say, well, Trump ought to put it this way, and I had to agree with that, or be more precise. But the notion that we're the ones running down the country when we point out how they've diminished America and will continue to diminish America, that's out of bounds. But when they strike at the basic principles that guide the average patriotic America, that's okay. That's not something we should worry about. They're the ones that are correct. We overdo it about America. And it's on my mind because of July 4th. And I'll probably do it on July 3rd down at Mulligan's. I happened to see this. The DJ may have sent it to me. Annually, Wallet Hub puts out the most patriotic states in America. And they claim, based upon a series of markers, that, the most patriotic state in America, they say, total score is Virginia. What I was interested in is that they say that Pennsylvania is way behind New Jersey, Dan. New Jersey's number 30. Pennsylvania is number 40 as far as patriotism. And last place is Arkansas. What?
Really?
Behind New York. Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
No. Can you imagine? We're less patriotic than New Jersey. What the heck is up with that? Does Josh Shapiro know that? So when we're down at Mulligan's, that's the day before. We might get into some of that stuff. It's the day we think about patriotism. Why is it, though, they want to play this game? When we're running down the country, we're running down Philadelphia. When we talk about Krasner, when we talk about Biden. But when they talk, and particularly, say, in schools, we shouldn't be indoctrinating kids. We have to see the critical race theory. We have to see the bad side of America. You're whitewashing everything. We say, no, we're telling the truth about it. But you go too far and your attacks on our mindset about America. It's funny that spin, but you see it constantly. And Trump gets them crazy when it comes. How dare you? All righty, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. Here is this cut 13. Little story, Dan. Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz from Florida. I did the Lou Dobbs show, and I decided, first time I did it, when it was really, really hot. This was the hottest ever when he was on CNN. And I was stuck in the green room with Debbie Wasserman Schultz for like 20 minutes,
that
half
sounds
hour.
Terrible.
She was fine. Then I
don't think there's anyone I'd rather less be stuck in a room with.
Could be Pelosi.
Well, yeah.
Could be Larry
That's a great
Krasner.
side question. Maybe we do that at some point.
Be stuck in a room
Who's
with.
Somebody you hate to be stuck in a room with.
So here's what she says, though. There's nobody, the average American's not concerned by what they saw. Polling out, by the way.
It's not only the politics, but it's the accent.
Oh, the accent is brutal. And up close, for quite a. And she had a whole retinue of her aides who also had the same accent,
like
et
little
cetera.
Joy Behar.
Yeah. It's 72% of Americans say in the CBS YouGov poll that Biden is not fit for the office, meaning he just hasn't cognitive ability, can't do it. They're trying to say, well, it hasn't influenced where we are. Well, even Drudge recognized this polling firm that they poll infrequently. He says this is the polling firm Atlas Intel that is most accurate, and they have Trump leading Biden by 5.2 on full ballot post-debate data is included. The Nate Silver, the 538 group, they project Trump winning the popular vote at this point. I saw that, not that it matters. I don't care. But wouldn't it be fun to say, oh, we won the popular vote. Now what are you going to change? I find that next to impossible. Could Biden have sunk to the level where even with the vast advantage of California, New York, and all that stuff, that Trump could win the popular vote? That would be astounding. But that's what Nate Silver predicts. Here's Debbie Wasserman Schultz, though. Don't pay any mind to that. That's just the elites.
This is a conversation, honestly, John, that is taking place among elites.
I just don't think that's true, Congresswoman. I was out there. Anyone who was anywhere this weekend.
You don't have to think it's true, but I'm telling you that.
But I just think that anyone who was anywhere this weekend talking to anybody, the subject of discussion was the debate and was President Biden's performance. I don't think that discussion is only members of Congress.
Oh, I don't think it's only members of Congress also, but there are certainly a greater breadth of how I would define elites. I mean, my constituents at home, voters across this country, are not going to be focused on what the New York Times or the Atlanta Journal-Constitution talks about. They're not focused on what the political elites are hand-wringing about. They're focused on making sure that we can have a president like Joe Biden who continues to fight to bring inflation down, who continues to fight to make sure that we can reshore American jobs like we did with the CHIPS and Science Act. When I'm home among my constituents, they care about the bottom line in their lives. And they care that we don't have a president like Donald Trump was, who tried to overturn the results of a legitimate election, who populated his administration with unethical people and who were focused more on enriching Donald Trump and themselves. And that's the choice. They want to make sure we have a president who is going to have their back, not give the American people the back of his hand, which is what Donald Trump did over and over again. And at the end of the day, we got to stop. We don't have time for this hand-wringing. We have less than 5 months till an election. We have less than 2 months to the convention. And we have to double down on organization right now, not on worrying about what happened during a 90-minute debate.
That's the best they could come up with. You have to be both delusional and you have to find some angle, right? I mean, you can't sit there and say, yes, this guy's out, he won't leave. You got to find an angle, as preposterous as it is, and then you just keep saying it. And that was a popular angle over the weekend. It's only a 90-minute debate. Or it's only that one thing there. He answered most of the other questions. Come on now. We're not going to judge a presidency on that. Ludicrous. Rest assured, the polling indicates people saw this, and they're not going to forget about it. But I don't want Joe Biden to go. I don't know why we'd be pressing for Joe Biden to go. Not that I'm afraid of Newsom, but the longer Joe, think about it the longer Joe Biden stays in, even if he ultimately leaves, the more agita is turned up, the more internally they're killing each other to get there. You have to understand, this is a once-in-a-lifetime shot for probably Newsom, Kamala Harris certainly, to actually be this close to the presidency. So they're, in their own way, undercover, moving heaven and earth. There's turmoil there. Exactly what you don't want when you're running for president. All right, so 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210. Let me take Jack in Drexel Hill. First in today. Oh, boy, a whole first hour. No call that we rolled through. Let's go to Jack. All right, Jack, you're first up. What do you have today, Jack?
Well, I just saw the movie yesterday, Tootsie.
Okay.
And that's where Dustin Hoffman played a woman in a soap opera, and then he changed at the last time in the last few minutes of the movie that he took his wig off and then he was the man. So he was a man. So everybody was shocked and fainting and all that stuff. So I thought maybe that was...
Yeah, it's an exit. Sure, that's an exit. I think...
Can you do it again in 2024?
Mrs. Doubtfire must have copied it then. Same thing, same principle, Robin Williams. Yeah. Tootsie, both really popular. All right, yeah, that is an exit.
Was not expecting to hear Tootsie today.
No, not at all.
No.
Okay, we got Scott Presler, great news. Number down to 357, and each week, it's gone down 180 or so. So we'll have one more week, well, 2 weeks to the day, I guess, of Democrats in charge by registration out in Bucks County. What's the best way to commemorate that, to put the spike the football? That, and I talked to DJ about this, Dan. He was infuriated, too, when he sent it to me. You know, going around calling people Karens all the time. I reject that. Sometimes people are doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, like this 11-year-old kid and his family. I don't know if you saw this, Dan. I know you had a full schedule. He's 11. He's making $100,000 a year riding his bike, sometimes seems to be motorized, in Haverford, and police are not pleased because he's standing on the, standing on the handlebars or putting his head on the seat and doing stuff, and people are driving. And the family and others are calling people Karens because they're concerned about this. You know, how would you like it if, unfortunately, somebody gets in front of you in that manner? You'd have to live with that the rest of your life. Is that being a Karen? Or is that saying, hey, kid, knock it off? And the parents, knock it off. I will tell you about that.
It really annoys me, too, because context-wise, the kid's essentially emulating the crap that we deal with here in Philadelphia, the ATVs and dirt bikes,
exactly.
The bike life.
Yeah.
And they have now this motorized bike that they're dealing with. It needs to be more than just Karens. You're right. This is a cultural thing that we're seeing here. Now, kids are following bad examples.
Yeah, when are you a Karen? Dan, was I a Karen? I told the guy, I thought he was writing tickets. Here he was tow trucking out here at our media spot. I said, there's a lot of vehicles in there that don't belong there. He said, I'll call the ticket person right away. Is that out of bounds, or have we had enough of it?
No, I think it's just we're at our wit's end.
Yeah, exactly. The sign says press vehicles only. Yeah. Dan Borowski's space.
Karen Giordano over here.
Yeah. Clutching my pearls. I'll read what the parents say. Parents of the year here.
Oh, my parking spot.
855-839-1210. You get in right now. And side question, hit us with the all-time character exit. Could be TV, could be film. There's a million of them. Hit us with a good one on Talk Radio 1210.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116.
Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Most of us don't fit in the clothes we wore 30 years ago. And financial advice from 30 years ago doesn't fit either. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen. Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Using credit cards could soon become a hassle in Pennsylvania. Some in the legislature are considering a multi-million-dollar giveaway to corporate megastores and may force you to pay for parts of your purchase in cash, while small businesses will have to manage an accounting nightmare. This mandate could also expose information about the private purchases you make. Prevent credit card chaos at guardyourcard.com/Pennsylvania. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-4402. 800-515-4402. 800-515-4402.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. I guess this was checked by historian Josh Shapiro's son, Dan. Josh Shapiro on Twitter just weighed in. 248 years ago this week, our nation was founded by a group of patriots seeking to free themselves from tyranny and a monarchy that held itself above the law. No one should be above the law in this country. But today, a Supreme Court packed with Donald Trump's hand-picked justices. It's called winning an election, Josh. Deeply undermined that fundamental tenet of our democracy. We must remain committed to the guiding principles that have made this country a beacon of liberty. We must continue the work of generations of Americans who came before us as we fight to protect our democracy. How many times, buddy? How many times? Dan, on this mountaintop of looking down on us with all these holy principles, he says, our democracy again. Editor's note, our republic and perfect our union. All right? My God, that's got 23,000 views. Something wrong with America here. All right, so this 11-year-old out in Haverford, Dan, Alex Santacroce, is a star to some residents and the Haverford police, age 11. He's the neighborhood's primary menace. It's not only that he and his siblings zoom around Maryland Park on bicycles and electric bikes, practicing daredevil tricks in public places and annoying the grown-ups who live nearby. It's also under this professional moniker, One-Way Lilman, He's monetized being a kid doing crazy feats on bikes and annoying neighbors. 1.4 million viewers on YouTube. Earns roughly $100,000 a year. Often he rides around in a Louis Vuitton half-shell helmet, emblazoned with his name. Packages of free gear from sneaker and apparel companies pile up at home. Modern twist to the classic suburban struggle over common space and how kids ought to behave. In private Facebook groups, some neighbors that referred to the family as classless wondered whether the children riding bikes in the street are feral. Oh, man. The family has repeatedly ended up in court. The father pleaded guilty in 2021 to allowing a child to illegally operate a bicycle. I think it's motorized, but the chief declined to comment. Situation has been escalating. Yeah, Dan, electric bikes. See, that's the menace of these. We see it out here in Center City with a bike lane. You know, an electric bike.
So I'm looking at, I think it's just a standard bike, and I'm kind of leaning more towards maybe this is Karen territory.
No, it's electric.
Yeah, but even if it's electric, it's not making noise.
No, it's not the noise. It's more the speed. And he's doing these things.
So he's doing the crap like when you drive up. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, there've been times when I'm driving up Delaware Ave, and you're like in the ongoing lane that you're going the right direction, and you have a bunch of three or four teenage kids riding towards you, doing a wheelie, and then the last second they swerve out of the way, but it looks like they're going to hit you.
Well, I don't even know if they're doing that, but Dan, I don't want some menace around me where something happens and unfortunately we have an accident with. I don't want that on my conscience. That's why police are trying to stop it. That's why we have safety rules. Are safety rules Karen's, or do we have them for the reason you swerve and you miss them, you kill somebody else? You know what I mean? That's what the danger is. It's not the noise. I don't think they're being.
See, I thought he was emulating, like he was riding a dirt bike, a mini dirt bike around the,
No, but it's more of a speed and it's tricks and things like that. Suppose he miscalculates a little bit, and you swerve or you hit him. I mean, it's illegal I don't think it's legal. That's not legal activity. If you want to do that, you got to do it in a field somewhere, right? Do it where you can't hit anybody or be hit. And then if you want to do that, Dan, and you want to risk your life and the parents are okay, oh, well, okay. Doing it on a public street, though, is not right because it involves everybody else. I think that's what their argument is. You don't buy that? You can tell me. You think that's being a Karen?
I think it's a Karen if we're talking purely just BMX. I don't know. Like, the kid... You know what? When I was a kid, I was riding on the sidewalks. I wasn't riding towards vehicles doing wheelies, So, yeah, I think they have a right to complain. And sorry, I'm doing some, digging here, and I'm on the YouTube channel now, and it looks like the kid also does ride dirt bikes and, other things as well. So it's not just...
Well, right. And if you want to do it, Dan, and again, if they complained and said, well, this kid's going to injure himself and all, I would say, you know what? That's up to the parents. I know we have laws on that. That's negligence, but that's up to the parents. But if he's doing it where you are driving on public streets, that's a different thing. That's the only point I'd make. I just get a little bit, it's so easy to call everybody a Karen. There's certain things that just are not right.
Well, that's the thing is, there are so many things that if you look around, it's like the fabric's being torn from society. And it's just, we're enabling it by brushing it off as Karen behavior to complain about it.
Right. And you know what this is too, Dan? I'll say this, maybe. The suburbs has a certain boundary thing. That's why they're suburbs. They don't want this. If this happened where you or where I am in Germantown, we'd complain about it, but the cops would go, what are we going to do about it? In the suburbs, you know what they're saying? No, you're not doing that here.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've seen elevate from a Karen issue into becoming a real issue, and you don't hear talked about as much anymore because I think the suburbs actually got a quash on it. That's the boom parties that you'd hear up and down the river. And remember when we first started talking about the boom parties, there's a lot of pushback, like, oh, look at these Karens complaining about the loud music. But then people realize, well, there are houses being shook with babies not being able to sleep, and there's a lot of issues here that come with this, and we shouldn't be enabling these criminals who have these loud systems with this noise, pollution. And
one note to your point, I don't know if you got it. I got it from the Burlington County representative out there, Dan. It's back again, the boom part. They're complaining to Sherelle Parker. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so, let's stop throwing the Karen stuff around too freely. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want a kid doing that around me. I'm scared to death I'm going to hit him.
I've heard people complaining about retail theft Karens. Oh, you're a Karen for complaining. This is, they're corporate greed anyway. Who cares?
Aren't there bigger things in the world?
Insurance is going to cover it.
No, I think the suburbs are saying, look, we enforce quality of life. If you don't like it, go live in a city where they don't. That's a big difference. So you move to the suburbs from Port Richmond, and I think you're happier with the vibe there, right?
Yeah.
Than Port Richmond.
Yeah. I mean, Port Richmond was great. It was awesome living in the city, being able to walk down the street to get groceries or something like that. But
yeah,
safety-wise, the week after we moved out, right around the block, there was a shooting, and
Exactly.
my wife, who we hope to have children soon, I don't want a pregnant wife walking around that. It's quality.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to Mike in Hamilton. Mike, good afternoon to you. Yeah, Mike.
Good afternoon, Don.
Hi, Mike.
Good. Hi. Hey, I don't know what it is that we don't understand about the term motor vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's an electric motor or a gas motor. It's still a motorized vehicle, and it should be subject to motor vehicle laws, one of which is that you have to be a certain age in order to operate a motor vehicle on roads.
Mike, that is a great point. And next time I have the police commissioner and I get him off air, I didn't want to bring up everything at once. We had him last week. You have to be out here where we are at 24th and Chestnut. It's downhill. It's curved. I mean, really downhill with no traffic lights. And you have people in the bike lane on motorized electric vehicles. Dan, they have helmets on, these guys, like motorcycle helmets, driving food. Mike, they might be going 30, 35 down around the curve here. It's not meant for a bike lane.
Dom, some of those things can do 45 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So
that's
the citation
bad.
you're saying here is actually kind of what kicked off the whole Karen debate, because in April, police mailed a citation to the Santa Croce home for driving an unregistered vehicle, as you mentioned. It was noted a red electric-powered bike, and the Santa Croces said that while they said the police examined carefully a visit to their home, it does not require registration, their vehicle that their son was driving, so they planted that, quote, "my neighbor is a Karen" flag, and the mom started getting calls from friends and coworkers. I heard there was a police raid on your street. She was upset by what seemed to be an outsized, unneighborly reaction from her neighbors.
Yeah, right. Dan, you know what?
Yep.
Officially, if you can get them on, I think this would be a pretty good guest.
And I got an exit.
Yeah, who's your exit, Mike?
Okay. I'm watching this show called Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And one of the last scenes, you see Walter White out in the desert with I guess it's a military-style machine gun, and he's got this contraption where the machine gun is going back and forth. And I'm thinking, what the hell is he doing now? And then in the final scene you see, and he uses it in the back of a Cadillac, rips the Cadillac practically in half with this thing going back and forth, and he kills all the bad guys, including himself. So he took everybody out, and he knew he was going to die too, but that was his exit.
That's a great exit. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, the Breaking Bad delivers big time there. Particularly Jesse killing the, like, Andy Griffith, Andy of Mayberry bad guy. Todd.
It's a lot of great exits there.
Yeah,
The
tremendous.
situation around the girlfriend. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Just a quote from the mom.
Yes.
Quote, "my husband does all their plumbing up there," gesturing to the part of the neighborhood where she guessed police calls came from. Yeah, she was disappointed.
All right,
He does
Dan,
the
here's your
plumbing.
work your magic. I think they'd be a great guest. It'd be a little change up from all the national
So
politics.
police were actually asked, and they had 6 incidents involving this kid. Quote, "what I'm actually concerned about is having to show up at somebody's house to tell them that their kid got killed while doing stupid things on a bike," Joe Hagan, Haverford Deputy Chief of Police, told Philly
Karen.
Mag.
He's a Karen.
"We take it seriously because of that, and because the people who move here do so because they want to live in a quiet neighborhood."
That's the line, too, Dan. You know what? And that's where police judgment comes in. Which one do you want? Do you want a quiet neighborhood or not? That's what the suburbs are about. Now, can it go too far? Do you get Karens? I don't think this is a good Karen story. You know, the Karen, Dan, was that white woman complaining about the guy bird watching in Central Park who was black. That was a Karen story. You know, it's the type of stuff. But, man, and Haverford's a very nice place, Dan, so I can imagine. The sister, according to the Inquirer, injured herself, face planted in front of people on a bike also. You don't have a right on public streets to do this. Do it somewhere. Well, that takes away the thrill of it, I guess, right? All right.
Apparently. An 8-year-old or 11-year-old needs the thrill of riding on a public street.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Scott Presler, a lot happening with him. He is up next here on Talk Radio 1210. Let's do Dr. Bent's reminder for you, though. You know, I've told you for years about my friend, dentist, and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. He's known for helping people overcome fear and anxiety in any way, shape, or form. And I've told you about my most recent visit within the last 5 or 6 weeks, I guess it was, getting a permanent tooth put in from the temporary, and how easy it was. I mean, just a perfect, easy fit. It was almost hard to believe. And we've all had the experience. Chomp, 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 chomp. You know, chomp down more on this. It's a little high, Doc. How many times have you said it? It always feels high. It didn't right from the beginning. And I told him, and he goes, well, it's not supposed to. Get out of here. This is the skill of Dr. Bentz and his staff, and it's also the 3D printer that we talked to you about, making your teeth. It all comes together for great outcomes. The Bentz Dental Group. You will get the care that I get, world class, with the Bentz Dental Group. Go to Bentz, B-E-N-T-Z, dentalgroup.com, or call them now to get that initial appointment. 610-272-6949. Visit the BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
LifeSurge is coming to Reading on Saturday, July 13th. Be inspired and equipped to grow your financial resources for Kingdom Impact, featuring leaders in faith and finance, including two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, Life Without Limbs Nick Vujicic, Duck Dynasty's Willie Robertson, football legend Brian Dawkins, pastor and author Craig Groeschel, plus worship artists Natalie Grant and Matthew West. That's LifeSurge, Saturday, July 13th. Tickets on sale at lifesurge.com.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12 months, same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same can be said for your retirement. Your 401k could be packed with things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings and build a plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-7415 for your complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti. Retire Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Weather sponsored by Holland Floor Covering.
A very comfortable air mass with low humidity for early July will be in place over the next few days. Expect sun and clouds and breezy today with a high temperature below average at 82. Tonight, mostly clear and pleasant, low 64. And for Tuesday, mostly sunny and warmer but not humid with a high 85.
Weather sponsored by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer. Family owned and operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more at hollandfloor.com.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, it's Dom Giordano Show. The guy is back with us, and he's holding up that number. Got to find out where he films at every week. He photoshops it, it looks like. And he makes his 7s in like an antiquated royal way. My 7s are not nearly as good. He likes the 7, too. Talking about Scott Presler, and every Monday we bring you the number from Bucks County. Let's go to him on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Scott, welcome back.
Hey, thank you for having me back.
You are welcome, Scott. So down to 357, right? Or is it that's a number I saw you holding up today on Twitter?
Yes, so those numbers are accurate as of today. I mean, it's kind of like a ritual that every Monday, we're refreshing the Pennsylvania voter registration data page, just anxiously awaiting. And to give people context again, why this is so important, Bucks County, Philadelphia, suburban county voted for Hillary Clinton, voted for Joe Biden. 4 years ago in June of 2020, there were 15,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. And as of today, that number is down to 357. That is a political earthquake in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
And this is being the same kind of thing is happening statewide.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, so Luzerne County, that's in northeast Pennsylvania, that number at the beginning of the year was 4,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans, and now it is just under 2,000 at 1,937. So I believe even by November of this year, we may also flip Luzerne County. Last year, we flipped Beaver County. And where Penn State University is the biggest campus, that number is hovering around 1,200. So to anybody that's saying, oh, the youth are supporting, Joe Biden's unaffordable policies and Joe Biden's wars and Joe Biden's open border at the southern border, I'm just finding the opposite is true. And young people, I think, are trending to the right in a very big way.
Scott, without a doubt. Now, I saw you, too, in the wake of the debates and in the wake of the debacle with the Bidens over the weekend and today's immunity decision, saying, though, that now is the time to push forward even harder, pedal to the metal. It's winnable. You ought to be inspired. It's there. But you're the ultimate guy seizing on that to have people want to be out there and working. Just the people that were part of your entourage that we had at Mulligan's, those 2 guys, and others that you have that have volunteered. It's my wife told me. The one guy came up, "Hi, I know you're Dom's wife, but are you registered to vote?" Right away, right into it.
I love that. Well, and I want people to know I'm not just asking you guys to go and register voters and write postcards and knock on doors and make phone calls, but I am right there side by side with you leading the charge. And the reason why I sound a little hoarse and I'm so gosh darn tired is, I just spent this entire weekend at the Big Butler, the Big Butler Fair in Butler County, Pennsylvania, which is just on the line of Allegheny County. And let me tell you, Dom, in the last 3 days, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is. In the last 3 days, we registered over 81 voters in just the time that I was there at the Butler Fair. And the majority of these people are young, or the majority of these people, here's the fascinating thing, These are first-time voters. And I mean, I'm not talking, no offense to spring chickens. These are people that have been on our earth for quite some time, and they have never, ever voted. But they realize that our country is going to heck. They realize that they can't afford anything. They realize that if we don't elect Donald Trump this November, we're not going to have a future. We're going to be a great experiment that ended around the same time that every other great civilization did. And so I think it's really inspiring people. And the kicker was Friday was the first day of the fear. It was the day after the debate. And let me tell you, people were on fire. Everyone had watched the debate. They watched that Donald Trump was poised, professional, and dare I say presidential. And they saw that Joe Biden, even after 12 minutes in to the debacle of his performance, I posted on X, I said, this is over. 12 minutes in, it's done. Joe Biden is cooked.
Yeah, absolutely. That's precisely, Scott, when it happened. And, Scott, just maybe a spinoff, too, of what you directly do. NBC News National, very worried because in places like Pennsylvania, they say, the GOP has been successful in recruiting poll monitors from suburban areas to monitor the vote in Democratic cities. And they mentioned several of the swing states where you have been. And I want people to know that this is happening. This isn't made up. That's the ultimate, to get people to also come and monitor the polls on Election Day.
Well, I'll get to that in one moment, but I want people to really be encouraged. I mean, I have been doing this for a decade, and, usually it's a lot of hand-holding. Usually I got to call Dom Giordano, and I got to make sure that you know where you're going, and I have to confirm with you. And let me tell you, even just yesterday, while I was at the Big Butler Fair, you had Nicole Freed, who, by the way, is a mom of 15. She's a mom of 15, and she still has time to volunteer. And if she can volunteer and her husband, Jamie,
get the kids out there,
anybody can volunteer, right?
Yeah.
So they were at Jake's Farmers Market in Berks County, Pennsylvania, while my great buddy Caleb Landis and Sam Feely, they were registering voters at a fireworks festival up in the Erie Crawford area. And yes, this election ultimately is going to come down to a select few swing counties and a select few swing states. So you got Clark County, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. You got Maricopa County, which is Phoenix, Arizona. You got Milwaukee, of course, where the RNC convention is going to be held, and I will be there in 2 weeks' time. You have Allegheny County, which is Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. You got Philly, of course, which is also in Pennsylvania. And then you have some kind of second-tier states, like, Virginia is in play. And so you have Fairfax County, Loudoun County. Then you've got, perhaps even Minnesota, and that's the Twin Cities, the St. Paul area. So to anyone that goes, Scott or Dom, my vote doesn't count, my vote doesn't matter, it's the big cities that control everything, I say no, now more than ever. Oh my gosh, if you live in one of those big cities that I just mentioned, we need you now literally more than ever to register voters. And I'll tell you one last thing. Remember, Butler, where the fair is just north of Pittsburgh. On Saturday, the majority of young people that we registered to vote that are coming out for Donald Trump are all from Pittsburgh, are all from Allegheny. And I'm telling you, I think there is a realignment happening all over the country.
Well, you're on the front of it, the tip of the spear, Scott. And what do people do to get involved with Scott Presler and to do some of this work in ways that they can be helpful?
Well, I really need your help, guys. Look, we're 357 voters from flipping Bucks County. And I want to be able to post on social media for Laura Trump, the RNC co-chair, to see, heading into the RNC convention in Milwaukee, that we have flipped Bucks County from blue to red. You can download my application, Early Vote Action, that you can make phone calls, send text messages, write postcards from the comfort of your home, or if you're local. If you're in New Jersey and you want to, cross the border into Pennsylvania to help Bucks County, we have door knocking available. And also, I would be remiss to say, if you are not able to help in those ways, but you're able to help financially, we really need your financial support. We need your resources. You can contribute now, today, at earlyvoteaction.com. That's earlyvote, VOTE, action.com, and your financial support would be greatly appreciated.
Scott, thank you. Onward and upward. Thank you, Scott Presler.
Thanks, boys.
Scott Presler here on Talk Radio 1210. An intermediate goal, Dan, to flip Bucks County as a prize as the Republicans bang the hammer down by Monday night, 2 weeks from today. Doable, down to 357. Wow, I wonder what the Democrats are doing out there in their bunker in Bucks County, Dan. You know, they're supposed to be the bastion of anti-Donald Trump stuff. How could all these people be registering and moving over to the Republican side? That's what's happening. All right, coming to your calls. We got Dan Time coming up, and a little bit later, this is an unbelievable story. ESPN, the ESPYs, have a Pat Tillman Award. Wait until you hear who the recipient is of the Pat Tillman. Remember Pat Tillman, right? His mother, the family, not happy, and you can understand why. It's almost unimaginable. We'll get to all that coming up on Talk Radio 1210.
Congressman Byron Donalds, the man himself. Any comments on Biden's executive action on the border?
The man is gaslighting the American people. The reason Joe Biden is doing this is because his poll numbers suck. Let's just call it exactly what it is. Don't mince words. His poll numbers suck because he sucks as a president. He's terrible, and he's got to do a fig leaf of reversing course. And that's what this mess is today. America, do not be confused by this charade and this sham.
Rich Cioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I am a father.
I am a mentor.
I am a wife. I am an artist.
I am a husband.
I am a friend.
I am a sports fan. I am your neighbor.
I am a member of your church.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am a police officer.
Support your local law enforcement officials. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Fraternal Order of Police. Visit partnersinpublicsafety.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Using credit cards could soon become a hassle in Pennsylvania. Some in the legislature are considering a multi-million-dollar giveaway to corporate megastores and may force you to pay for parts of your purchase in cash, while small businesses will have to manage an accounting nightmare. This mandate could also expose information about the private purchases you make. Prevent credit card chaos at guardyourcard.com/Pennsylvania. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navient's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee, if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's Dan time.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
With Dom.
That's right. It's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program for some Dan time with Dom. And Dom, a big day overnight. Or big night, I guess. What was it, 3 a.m.? News comes down that Paul George has signed with the Sixers. A max deal, 4 years, a lot of money, Dom. Good signing, bad signing, where do you stand?
It's hard to ever say good in this nonsense of the NBA, but it is a good signing. Otherwise, they had no choice. Joel Embiid's got, I would say, 2 years left at a high level, maybe 3, and I don't know how. And Paul George is the best you can get. He compliments him. There's a lot of good things about him. So the Sixers will be relevant again. And if they avoid massive, catastrophic injury, they can beat anyone, I think.
Adding Eric Gordon as well, a great three-point shooter, but also way up there in age, one of Daryl Morey's kind of guys, former IU guy, which I like.
Okay.
And Kelly Oubre signs another 2-year, $16.3 million contract, a very low amount, $8 million a year for that guy.
Well, that's another police alert, shall we say there, yes.
So you do think there's a good shot that we go far? I mean, you got the Boston Celtics now, which looks like they're on the verge of another dynasty.
Yeah, people that do this for their day job, which I don't, but I could, say that they are second or third favorite now to win a championship. So there we go. Just think about it. And the Flyers are on the rise. The Eagles should be very good. And the Phillies are dominant.
They are. And it's fascinating to watch what's happening in Philadelphia.
Maybe they're driving each other to higher levels.
Dom, I had a very interesting weekend. Last weekend, we have the dog. If you're unfamiliar, Maisie and I, a couple months ago, adopted a pit bull mix. She's so sweet, Callie, but very, very aggressive. Well, not aggressive. I don't want to say aggressive. Not aggressive. She's loving. She doesn't bite or anything like that. Very hyperactive. So we brought her to her trainer last weekend, and she suggested that we get a treadmill for our dog.
Oh, man.
So Saturday.
Wait a minute. You're bringing her to a trainer?
Yeah. No, we brought her to a trainer because we just want. So Maisie and I, we want to have kids and all, and we just want the dog. And what she does is she's never been told no, I think. And now that she's about 16 months old, she's a bigger dog, and she will come up to you with her teeth and all. She won't bite, but we want to stop that. So we brought her to a trainer, and what happens is that she's so excited. She has such anxiety that her brain's on fire. And what they say is structured exercise is good for a dog. 2 structured exercise sessions. And that's not a walk. Walks distract the dog. It adds more fire to the flame of their brain. You need some kind of theoretical water to wash on that brain. And us not having a fenced-in backyard, what the trainer suggested we do, go out and get a treadmill. We went to Facebook Marketplace. My Saturday was me and my father-in-law trucking in South Philadelphia, $50 treadmill, usually $800. Great deal. Thanks, Facebook Marketplace. Down a full flight of stairs, hooking the thing up, and now I got a dog that runs on the treadmill twice a day, 30 minutes a day.
Make sure the dog tunes into the Dom Giordano show. You never know, that might count.
Make it a super political dog.
Yes, yeah.
Barks at all the Democrats.
Oh, my God.
All I got for damn time, Dom.
The dog on the treadmill. What a weekend. All right, we'll have more of those stories at Mulligan.
You know what? At Dom Show 1210, I'll post up a video of the dog on the treadmill.
That's what I want to see. Yeah, definitely. Post it on my Twitter. This is must see. All right, coming up, Greg Jarrett. I just saw something interesting on the big Supreme Court decision. Amy Coney Barrett off the reservation, if you can say that. Bad pick for the Supreme Court. specifically calling out President Trump for the so-called fake state electors and saying that would be out of bounds. But I'm going to ask Greg Jarrett about the overall decision. And then who is it that ESPN deigns to say is this year's winner of the Pat Tillman Award for the ESPYs? It's a disgraceful choice. The family's saying it, but this is what ESPN does. They're not about sports. They're about trash many times, really. And this is a perfect example. We'll tell you who it is. That's coming up in a big 2 o'clock hour with Dom's Money Melody, Talk Radio 1210.
It's hot out there, and your inefficient windows mean high utility bills all year long. Window Nation sells some of the most energy-efficient windows you can buy and was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 free, plus 0 down, and no interest or payments for 2 years. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule an in-home estimate right now at 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com.
Hey, it's Nick. Recently, I visited my friends at Piazza Mazda in Westchester to check out the 2024 Mazda CX-30. The dynamic CX-30 offers 8 different trim levels, creating a perfect fit for every lifestyle. When it comes to performance, iActive all-wheel drive is standard, and the available turbocharged engines pack a surprising punch. Safety features such as blind spot monitoring and lane assist led the 2024 CX-30, earning a 5-star overall safety rating. Visit Piazza Mazda in Westchester, Reading, or online, piazzamazda.com.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Where else should we celebrate the 4th of July? All right, Independence Hall. That might be a good idea, but I say go to Mulligan's, 310 West Hildreth Avenue, right there in Wildwood. We'll be joined by Congressman Jeff Van Drew. Wants to meet his constituents. We hear there's some scotch tasting going on, too. But in addition to all the stuff, great food with Mulligan's. Come and join us noon until 3 this coming Wednesday, July 3rd on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, welcome in, Dom Giordano Show. Waiting all day. Now we have a little bit more meat on the bone, you know. We got the flash report on the big immunity case decision. Now I see a footnote here from Amy Coney Barrett, who has been a disappointment, to put it mildly, to me. And I'm going to ask Greg Jarrett about this footnote and several other things in the case today. Greg, of course, top guy on Fox News, one of their top reporters on a day like this, analyst. His most recent book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Greg joins us in Philadelphia on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Greg, thank you very much for joining us. What immediately pops here vis-a-vis what the media may be getting wrong on this, and you can clarify for our listeners?
Well, it was an impressively well-reasoned decision, and it was supported by the constitutional principle that all presidents, not just Donald Trump, but all presidents have unique responsibilities that demand independence to function effectively. And, Dom, regardless of their party, they must be protected from bad faith prosecutions driven by political animus, which, I believe is exactly what Special Counsel Jack Smith has done. Now, understand, this is not blanket immunity. It's a conditional, albeit presumptive, protection for the official acts of a president, but not private acts. And as I predicted long ago, the court adopted the exact same standard that was enunciated 4 decades ago in the Nixon-Fitzgerald case that shielded presidents from civil liability as long as their acts are within the outer perimeter of official duties. If it were otherwise, the chilling effect on presidents would be severe. And as the High Court said today, we want our chief executives to exercise decisions fearlessly and fairly without the threat of partisans later criminalizing legitimate actions. But at the same time, private or unofficial actions do not enjoy immunity. So, I think it was an eminently fair decision.
Now, I don't know if you saw this, Greg, because I just saw it because Mediaite put it up. I know you're combing through this. Amy Coney Barrett, who really dropped the ball on that internet case, Facebook, et cetera, with the Biden administration, in my view, she put a footnote in starting the process to tell us what is official and what is private. And she said a president has no legal authority, thus no official capacity, to influence how states appoint their electors, kind of taking a shot at allegedly what Trump did with so-called fake electors.
Yeah, that's not a sentiment shared by the majority. It's her own. And the fact is that in 3 previous elections, Democrats used the Electoral Count Act, which is a federal statute,
right,
to challenge electors on January 6th. They did it January 6, 2017, to try to remove the newly elected Trump in favor of Hillary Clinton. They did it in 2001, 2005. When they do it, it's perfectly okay. But when allies of Donald Trump do it, it's somehow criminal. So I think she's fundamentally wrong about that, and it's one of the deep flaws in Jack Smith's J6 case against Trump.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the practical implications, because I agree with you. We started off, this is not about Trump mainly, even though there's huge significance to it. It's about future presidents in general, like President Obama and the drone killing, that we want to give, this is the benefit of the doubt. The referees are a significant presumption. A president has to have that. Otherwise, he's never going to be bold enough to be president. But how does this cut, in your view? What is I've seen 0. I don't quite share that, Greg, the potential of Jack Smith starting up the case if he cuts some stuff out, particularly with the judge in Washington. Is there any shot in Greg Jarrett's mind that we're going to see that trial start, say, in October of this year?
Well, it would have to move at lightning speed, but Judge Tanya Chutkan seems willing to abide by the demands of Jack Smith to do that. I see difficulties in that because today's ruling remands the case back to the trial court to determine whether Trump's actions were official or unofficial. Does he get some protection, complete protection, no protection? That will require evidentiary hearings. It may require witnesses. And so that is a long and involved process. And, if Trump doesn't fare as well as he hopes in that, he will assert a right of appeal. And if granted, that litigation would take months. And so, I just don't see this getting to trial, Now, Chutkan might try to, move it along faster than it deserves. Is she really going to tie up Donald Trump in a courtroom in Washington, D.C. in the weeks leading up to the presidential election or even after the election? I think the outrage would be deafening.
I agree with you, but I don't put it past a guy like Jack Smith and maybe this judge. Greg, is there any impact at all in the Bragg case with the sentencing? One of your colleagues, Andy McCarthy, I'm not I was on the air when this was going on today, was asked about that, and he thought the Trump defense might bring this up as an example of lawfare, and that's what happened in New York. Do you see them being able to play with this decision at all?
In the New York case, Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard law professor, was on with me on Hannity last Friday night. He believes it does because the decision that we were talking about then was the Fisher case in which the Supreme Court said, wait a minute, you're misusing and misapplying an obstruction statute against 330 J6 rioters and Donald Trump. That essentially guts half of Jack Smith's J6 case against Donald Trump. And, at the same time, I think Dershowitz made the argument that the misuse of that statute, what the Supreme Court was really saying was, Alvin Bragg did the same thing. He misused statutory law for partisan purposes. Now, I don't think that's going to be a direct issue before the Supreme Court right now or any time in the near future. But I, have communicated with Trump's defense team, and they're going to take this case to the federal courts because due process violations mean that their only relief is in the federal system.
Now, Greg, I haven't heard you on this too, but some colleagues, various, think that even though it's only on paper, 34 felonies, it's on paper technically in the Bragg case, how could the judge just say some probation or something? In other words, maybe home confinement. Is that possible? Well, anything's possible, but is that likely with this judge?
Yeah, I think it is. He's got to recognize, unless he's totally out of it like Joe Biden, that this was really just a single act. And what Bragg did was called count stacking, which is unconscionable. No good prosecutor does it. So if you read the first charge in the indictment, it's identical to the following 33, except they just changed the date of the invoice reimbursements. It's sort of like a bank robber walking out with $100 and he gets charged with 100 bank robbery crimes. Prosecutors don't do that. Judges don't allow it. So I think he has to recognize this was really just one crime. And second of all, that the defendant has no criminal record, and that, it was a nonviolent crime on questionable legal theory. So I think there is a chance that, he'll get probation.
All right. Where do you lean? I hate to pin you down, Greg, but, will he be taken and have to be at home? How remote of a possibility? You don't think so? Okay.
No, because first of all, whatever sentence is rendered will be stayed pending an appeal.
Okay.
So, and that's standard, particularly in a case like this, a nonviolent crime. So, no, he'll be free to campaign regardless of Merchan's sentencing.
Overall, with the Supreme Court, and this is really your bailiwick, the Constitution of the United States and other patriotic documents, current book, the only gripe I have, and it is a major one, is the social media case, trying to read the tea leaves. And as you can tell with Amy Coney Barrett, not that we want people to walk in lockstep, but I just see her influence there is both Roberts, and I don't see this as a Supreme Court decision that I'm on board with as far as a choice by President Trump. How about you?
Well, they dodged it. They didn't want to confront it. And I think it was Alito who said, this is really shameful. because this is probably the most important free speech case in decades.
Yes.
And it really was. I mean, you're talking about wholesale government censorship of free speech rights leading up to an election, as well as an important issue, the treatment of COVID. And yet people were being silenced. And I can't think of a more egregious violation of the First Amendment than that. And what they did say was, well, we're not going to make a decision because we don't think the plaintiffs have standing, which is a joke. Of course they had standing. But the court often uses that ploy to avoid making a controversial decisions. And I think Roberts, along with Amy Coney Barrett, decided, we're making plenty of controversial decisions right now, and we're just going to not make one more, so we're going to boot this case. And that, I think, is disgraceful.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Greg. So what's on your radar screen? What are you looking coming up out of any of this and how it impacts the presidential race, either Biden, Trump? What are you seeing?
Well, Biden's got his own problems right now. I wrote a column the day after the debate that said, look, this was entirely foreseeable, but the leftist media, as well as, Biden's family, his wife, those aides at the White House, his handlers, they've been covering it up. And I just find that so regrettable. Biden's notoriously stubborn. He has no ability to self-reflect. But it's too much to expect a senile man to recognize his own senility. So, I think he can be forgiven for that. But I don't forgive Biden's wife and family. I don't forgive the White House aides. I certainly don't forgive the media handmaidens who bear considerable blame. Too many journalists and pundits were complicit in covering up his infirmities. They knew it all along, and then they pretended they were shocked, on Thursday night, and they immediately turned against him and called for him to step aside. There's plenty of blame to go around, but one thing's for sure. A continued presidency of Joe Biden is a national security threat because perceived weakness invites foreign aggression, and, Americans can't afford that.
Absolutely. Greg, have a great Independence Day, the Constitution of the United States, and other patriotic documents. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Tom. Good to talk to you.
All right, Greg Jarrett, very comprehensive there on where this goes yet, the practicalities of it. Take your calls on that. We got the side question going, and also the ESPYs and ESPN under fire today from a variety of people. There's the Pat Tillman Award. I'll tell you in a moment who they're awarding it to and why people are upset. But first, it is time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
So the money gone.
That's right. Today we have a signed copy of Rand Paul's book, Deception, the Great COVID Cover-Up. Had a wonderful time with Senator Paul in the first Politics and Pints. Dan, what's your backstory today?
Yeah, Dom, I've often wondered where the heck Rand Paul got his name from.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the man himself to tell us where it came from, Dom.
Well, my name my mother gave me was Randall, R-A-N-D-A-L. And for many years as a kid, I was Randy. And then when I got married, my wife actually shortened my name to Rand. We dropped the Y. But the interesting thing is that neither one of us, even though both of us are fans of Ayn Rand, no one really thought that much that everybody would ask us questions about Ayn Rand. I never met Ayn Rand. I think my father may have met her one time but didn't know her closely, but always enjoyed her novels. But no, I was not named after Ayn Rand, although I do have a great deal of respect for her.
So Rand Paul,
yes.
No relation to Ayn Rand, but his favorite author, he later did say, is Ayn Rand, and his favorite novel is Anthem by the author. And there's a song, Dom, that's based on this novel by this author that he's not named after, that's done by a very prog rock kind of band. And we want to know today, Dom, the name of the band that does the song that's based on the novel that's by the person that Okay, it's really getting complicated here, is it not? So, Dom, today we just want to know the name of the band of this song that's related to Rand Paul, because it's actually his favorite song because it's inspired by the writings of Ayn Rand. So take a listen, Dom. Here is today's clue. We want to know the name of the band. Yeah, Rand Paul rocking out in Kentucky, huh? Very distinct sound. If you know the sound from the prog rock band, give us a ring. 855-839-1210, Dom.
All right, fired up today. Woo! All right, 855-839-1210.
It's like one of those tongue twisters from Sesame Street.
Yeah, if they know this, I'm in shock. My head's spinning.
All we want to know after all those clues,
yes,
Dom, is just the name of the band.
Just the name of the band after all that cluing. Hit us with that. We have the Rand Paul book for you. And coming up, I'll tell you this ESPN latest. You heard Greg Jarrett. Brilliant stuff on this Supreme Court ruling. But watch, Roberts is beyond suspect. But Amy Coney Barrett, another, God, it's a footnote, I realize, but it's part of the tenor here of what happened today. Big ruling. More on that coming up on Talk Radio 1210.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Using credit cards could soon become a hassle in Pennsylvania. Some in the legislature are considering a multi-million-dollar giveaway to corporate megastores and may force you to pay for parts of your purchase in cash, while small businesses will have to manage an accounting nightmare. This mandate could also expose information about the private purchases you make. Prevent credit card chaos at guardyourcard.com/Pennsylvania. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
My name is Andy Donaldson. I've been with Crash Proof Retirement since the beginning of 2014. The main reason Crash Proof is so phenomenal is there's no way that the original investment you put in is going to be any less than you started. In addition, you do get significant returns. A number of the different investment strategies that I've been involved with have given me 10 to 15% returns annually. With the Crash Proof Retirement System this year, I made almost 11.5%. It's quite a nice feeling to know that at the end of your year, whatever you've gained, the 10 or 15%, now becomes your new principal amount and you never lose it.
Learn how double-digit interest returns can be permanently compounded to your principal with no risk of loss in a legally binding recorded financial meeting. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Downingtown Country Club, July 23rd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Yo, Roy is Ford. We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
It's the Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
Yes, that's right. Every day around 2:13 or so. Here's the clue today. We want the name of the band.
Really shortening it there, huh?
Yep. right, let's go to Paul somewhere in Pennsylvania. That's good enough. Paul, good afternoon. What's the name of the band?
That's Rush, Tom.
Nicely played, Paul. We'll put you on hold. Enjoy the Rand Paul book winner today. And we'll do it again tomorrow, and we'll do it on Wednesday from Mulligan's. Who knows what the clue will be.
I don't really want to explore that clue again myself.
No, I think that's enough. We're exhausted by
Go
it.
to the Odyssey app if you want to rewind to hear that long clue I gave for that one. Woo.
Now, annually, the ESPYs, it's clever what ESPN does, even though they're just a perversion of sports to me. I just don't like almost anything about it. The ESPYs this year, Pat Tillman's mom is going after them, and rightfully so. They do the Pat Tillman Award. Now, you remember Pat Tillman, who was what they used to call, I don't think they say strong safety anymore, free safety, strong safety. Somebody was even more hard-hitting. Volunteer, turned down then $18 million, I think, was the contract to go into the U.S. military, U.S. Army Ranger. And his death died in combat from, and it's an unfortunate expression, friendly fire, was established 10 years after Tillman died in combat. The award was established in 2014. So this guy, Pat Tillman, is just storied, without a doubt, just an American hero. Well, this year, they're giving the award, think about that sacrifice, of Pat Tillman to Bonnie Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Prince Harry. Is there a bigger weasel out there on so many levels, including the kowtowing to Meghan Markle? They're doing this because they say that in honor of the tireless work in making a positive impact for the veteran community through the power of sport, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, will receive the Pat Tillman Award for Service. Strong Connection Sports, who served others, it echoes the legacy of Pat Tillman. He'll be presented that at the ESPYs on July 11th. I wonder if Meghan Markle will be called up to have to accept.
One guy's a war hero, one guy is a rollover.
Yeah, exactly. To put it the all-time, if we did the Wusses Award particularly, look, there's nothing wrong with a strong female presence, but a strong male presence is necessary with that also. I'm surprised he's still the Duke of Sussex, ESPN. I thought that some of the stuff has been taken away here at some point. Mary Tillman, the mother of Pat Tillman, was shocked the award would go to Prince Harry, said she was not consulted, of course, on her son's award. She said they would select such a controversial and divisive individual to receive the award. There are recipients that are far more fitting, individuals working for the veterans community, doing tremendous things. These individuals don't have the money, resources, connections, or privilege that Prince Harry has. I feel those type of individuals should be recognized. Pat McAfee, who I also don't like at ESPN.
Oh, why not?
Is dismayed by the selection. Good for him. He said it's going to be Prince Harry, who I don't even think is a prince anymore, right? He said, don't call me that. So why do the ESPYs do this blank? And they do it just to attract people. Well, consider that with McAfee. So
making controversy out of a war hero.
Yeah, it's endless. It's endless. And, Philadelphia right now, just think of the value. We talk about this a lot, but right now things are hot in Philadelphia sports. I mean, I don't want to jinx anybody, but if the Phillies don't at least make it to the World Series, given the pitching and a tight series, it'll be surprising. The Eagles should rebound from the end of last year. They have everything going for them pretty much that should carry them enough, particularly, I think, better coaches. Other than the head coach. They have two really good coordinators. Then the Sixers last night make a huge play, giving a guy about $250 million in change to come here, giving Tyrese Maxey, $200 million plus to play here. So, a lot.
He deserves it. You don't think so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm surprised he didn't get the maximum. I want him here for life. And then the Flyers have done some nice stuff, although dealing with the Russians.
Did they get the Russian kid, Mitchell?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
So they're coming on. So the world of sports is something here in Philadelphia that is just beautiful in many ways, but you have all these elements like ESPN and some of the others that make it into something not. There's hurdles to it. We went to the Phillies game on Friday night because of the fireworks row, of course, and the Phillies did a very unique, I guess they did it on Thursday and Friday because they're not home. I'm not sure how many times they did it over the weekend, but very unique fireworks, very well done, kind of telling the Phillies' history of the last 30 or 40 years in addition to the fireworks in it. It's very creative. They just don't blow stuff up and throw it in the air. It was very.
Were you watching the drone show, too? Was that night?
No, I don't think that was that night.
After the game one night, there was Kruk in L.A. They were doing the post show,
right? And
they got very distracted by the drones, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, they have to. It takes a while. They have to clear people out of all of right field. I guess it was. So it's quite a production by the Phillies. Really well done. Okay. Side question today. Yes. We're going to talk to John Yu tomorrow, our ace constitutional lawyer par excellence, about this decision today. We just heard from Greg Jarrett, and there'll be a lot more speculation as it plays out in the Supreme Court in general. But I'm looking at, from Breitbart, Jonathan Turley, Supreme Court January 6 ruling downgraded, quote, the insurrection, in quotes, to mere trespassing. In other words, this Fisher case we told you a lot about, we should be publicizing this because it gets at the core of what some people did on January 6th and what others did that shouldn't result in 20 years in jail. I mean, that's the bottom line here. This idea that Democrats are going to continue to ride this, they're mad that January 6th did not come up much during the big debate last Thursday. Well, Joe Biden, if he had any ability at all, would have been able to angle that in answering or bringing it up with President Trump. He just couldn't, as far as I can tell. And this Fisher case really lays out what happened on January 6th and how people ought to be prosecuted versus some of the stuff that we've seen. All right, so coming up, we'll take your calls. That's the side question today. Hit us with an all-time exit, even though I don't think that we're going to see Joe Biden exit anytime soon. And again, why in the world would Republicans push for that? That's election interference. Tens of thousands, I guess millions, ultimately, in the various primaries voted for Biden. They would be shut out if Democrats are able to force him out by some kind of maneuver. Now, if he chooses to go out, in quotes, which I don't see happening given Jill Biden, given the Biden brothers, and given Hunter Biden, then the gravy train and the legal consequences of all that, I don't see that happening. So this could play out for a while. They'll look at the polling to see if it solidifies over the course of time. And who knows what element might trigger then Biden to be forced out. But he has the delegates, and I think the Bidens have said this. They have the delegates pledged to them at the convention. And once that goes down, there is a mechanism to force him out or attempt to do that. Are they really going to try to do that? And the answer is, yeah, they'll try to do anything. The case, remember Torricelli. Remember that name? Guy that was a senator, the Torch in New Jersey, got caught up in a legal matter that was indisputable. They got a Supreme Court to say in Jersey, yep, you can tag in Frank Lautenberg with, I think, 5 days before the election, and he wins. Would they try to do that? Yeah. Is it that easy to do that? No, don't think so. So I think still a lot of play in this with the Bidens. Just as I've been saying all along, that's where it's going to go. All right, you get in at 855-839-1210.
Weather sponsored by Budget Blinds. A very comfortable air mass with low humidity for early July will be in place over the next few days. Expect sun and clouds and breezy today with a high temperature below average at 82. Tonight, mostly clear and pleasant, low 64. And for Tuesday, mostly sunny and warmer but not humid with a high 85.
Summer's a great time to brighten up the window treatments in your home. Budget Blinds is your one-stop shop for blinds, shades, shutters, custom drapery, and motorization. Visit budgetblinds.com for a free in-home consultation and the only no questions asked warranty in the business. Budgetblinds.com.
Ad paid for by AG Marketing Group. Attention timeshare owners. If you need to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, please listen to the following message. Getting out of a timeshare commitment is not easy, and it takes time. But we specialize in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares forever. Can't get the vacation dates that work for you? Maybe you felt taken advantage of or forced into the timeshare? Maybe you just can't continue to shoulder those monthly payments any longer. If you need to eliminate your timeshare commitment, then you need to take down this number, 800-866-7061. We will safely and legally get rid of your timeshare payments forever, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't continue to let your timeshare be a financial burden to you and your loved ones. Call us now at 800-866-7061. The call is free. The consultation is free. Call 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Again, 800-866-7061.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano show at 855-839-1210. You get on board. I don't know if Janet Yellen, I think she did it last week, but some reason it's in the news again, dismissing and saying she goes food shopping each week, dismissing the cost at the grocery store. What else are they going to do? I mean, Biden deep down wants to dismiss it too. He doesn't want to own up to it and then say we're going to change it in a second term. How in the world could they? There's no denying that. It remains that. And then there's the emotional kick of illegal immigration that constantly we see Americans being raped, murdered, attacked, coming around this of people that shouldn't be here and never should have been here. One other thing, too. Biden administration about ready to drop the SAVE plan, okay? And what this does is trying to get around the Supreme Court, planning to place about 3 million student loan borrowers into a months-long payment pause, meaning even though we're well past when they should be paying, they will be paused, just like during COVID. And no one seems to know the number of months. 3 million more people. Now, it doesn't mean they're, quote, forgiven, end quote, but it means that they don't have to pay this bill for now. And in their minds, as far as voting, well, if Biden's reelected, who knows what may happen? He'll be emboldened. So when we hear this stuff about Trump and defying the Supreme Court, what is it that the Biden administration has been doing with all this forgiving, A, and B, now the ones that they can't for whatever reason, putting them into a pause of non-payment with nothing. And again, we come back to the essential question on this. I don't think Republicans, Trump, anybody else has made look, I realize there's other issues without a doubt. Didn't even come up during the debate. And that is, why this one area? Why do we put this on a level that's different than any other debt, et cetera? Why is this the thing that has to be done in this manner? That's the angle of attack on it. I still think that is the angle of attack. Now, I don't know. Are Republicans afraid if they attack this too much, there might be backlash of people that might vote for Trump, but they still want to have their student loan debt forgiven? So go easy on that? Or is it just the other issues are so overwhelming that why spend time on that? It's a bit of a distraction. We'll see. But those two issues in addition to Biden's inability to be president, are not going to go away. The CBS poll over the weekend, YouGov poll, 72% say he's not capable of being president. Democrats still trying to argue, but that doesn't mean they're going to vote against Biden or vote for Trump. Well, we'll see about that, but they may sit it out. All right, all-time exit, though. Even though I don't think Biden's going to exit, let's go to Chris in Melbourne Beach, Florida. Hey, Chris, good afternoon.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Good, Chris.
I've been listening to you since the FM days. Even when I moved to Florida, I still stream you every day and listen to you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Well, Chris, thank you. Very nice of you. Thank you.
My exit is, I forget the character's name, but it was Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino.
Yes, it's is it one? It's not Kowalski. Is it Walt Kowalski? I'm looking at Dan on the Polish bureau there, and he's coming up.
Yeah, I'm trying
it's
to.
Walt.
Wow,
Yeah.
right on the money, Dom.
Yeah,
Walt Kowalski.
Yeah, that exit in Gran Torino is so beautifully played.
It was great. I think he redeemed himself as he was frowned upon by the society, but he had his old views and stuff, and I think he redeemed himself and and went out in style for sure.
Absolutely, that's a good one. That is quite an exit, and the Gran Torino at the end with the kid driving down the highway is very, very good ending. Here is a little bit, Dan, and I'm sure I can't imagine that this guy's still around even. We talked about Amber Rose, and this guy, I don't even want to go near his name, just say a guy working with her, released a Magnum rap video.
Giordano.
Yeah, and the rest of it too. Yeah, inspired by Vanilla Ice is still around?
Oh, I think it's just like it's it's based off of that song. I don't think Vanilla Ice is still around, but he's not involved with this.
Oh, okay, it's just, based off.
I feel like
his
it'll
song.
lose
Yeah.
a lot of cool if it.
Right.
Well, I don't know if this is cool.
I just want to play about 30 seconds, not the whole thing, because I want to make a point of why this works a little bit with Trump and what he's doing versus other Republicans. All right, here's Amber Rose. Here's the latest MAGA rap video.
Yeah. It's the mayor of Magaville, baby. Hey, you know who we gonna
under
vote?
pressure, by the way.
We voting Donald Trump, baby. Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Red pill poppin', swerving in the Trump. Republican 4G, Antifa knows what's up. Red, white, and blue, MAGA nation. Throw it up. Black, white, and brown, all that above Trump. Democrat party gon' take your freedom. Indicting our president cause they can't beat us. It's a two-tier justice system. Put America first, we the victims.
All right, here we go. All right, so now the fact that, whatever they're up to, Dan, by doing this, whether they support Trump or not, it's just a way of putting out a video. It's the breakthrough that Republicans have been saying any number of the same policies that Trump has said. Why is it that he's the one breaking through, particularly with African-American males? It's somewhat his persona, his stature, created over the years with black celebrities, mixed martial arts, all those things. Can that sustain itself? And another Republican be able to do that? That's going to be a challenge. I mean, there's only one Trump moment here to break through with groups. I often talk about it. I mean, how in the world can Mitt Romney reach, in these numbers, African-American males? He was the last nominee before Trump, that Trump's able to do it. What do Republicans have to do? Well, what they have to do is, this is a moment, you break through the celebrity of Trump, and then you just continue to show the wisdom of these policies. Now, we're seeing a big one play out right now, even though it's dwarfed by all that's going on presidentially. And that is right here in Pennsylvania. The budget was due today. It's not. They're fighting it out over how much money are these progressives going to get to continue to ruin schools, and are you going to give parents freedom of choice? I'm looking at polling. 90% of African Americans support freedom of choice. Will Josh Shapiro, because he wants to be president, will this put him on the map a little bit during all this if he signs off on it? We'll see. The point is, these are all solid policies. Why does it take what Trump has to break through? Because it does. Because of years of Republicans just not having any kind of cultural connection. So when Trump talks about this, some of the people he brings to events and all, it all helps. Democrats realize this. They realize the policies are good. It's just the media has been able to shut them off. The media has been able to say that these people don't care about. They're still trying to do it with Trump. And all he has to do in a place like Pennsylvania is get around that 21, 22%, even 20, which is an uptick. It'll make all the difference. You'll win these swing states. If it's close to that, you're going to win them. And what's happening with Biden, I forget who we had on today that said it. I think it was Mark Lauder, America First. The turmoil going on with Democrats, particularly if they jump over Kamala Harris in the end, will be African-American women. Maybe they won't show up and vote. They're already tepid on Biden. Why would they show up and vote if they believe she was disrespected? So it's not so much they're going to vote for Trump or anything like that. It's more Biden and Democrats are having trouble in a place like Philadelphia turning out that vote. So the bottom line is they will try their best to head this off, and it's a reason why I think Biden's going to remain in. They know Kamala Harris can't win. So are they going to push Biden out to somebody who has less of a chance to win? I don't see it. She won't want to do it. And the consequence is you could hurt people showing up to vote. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. It's time for the lightning round. Hit us with that all-time character exit is what we're looking for. The wildest idea of the weekend is just triggered by that music video, which is, in my view, Dan, I don't know about you, have more expertise, pretty poorly done, too. They just slapped it together to say, let's put it out there for Trump. Yeah, they grabbed a few lines. Over the weekend, Ro Khanna, progressive, but I think the guy would even come on the show, Dan. I mean, he's a good guy to deal with, but he's saying wild stuff. He's saying Rocky was not an eloquent speaker like Joe Biden either, but Rocky is solid. Joe Biden ought to pretend he's Rocky, get up fighting, and do it by running up a little bit the steps of the Art Museum and doing a rally here in Philadelphia at the Art Museum. Oh, my God.
Now, I got to ask, are these people like Ro Khanna so just brainwashed into thinking this guy is mentally fit enough to be able to actually do something like this? Do you think he actually thinks he can physically run up the stairs, that they've convinced themselves with this lie so strongly?
Yeah. Well, did you ever see him when he does the thing? He gets it, Dan. He does like pretending like he's jogging.
Yeah.
After he stumbles up the steps and he runs like that to get there. Yeah. They think that's... What else are they going to do?
He can shuffle on flatland. Good for Joe. He still can't climb a stair.
Yeah. Maybe Hunter Biden will run up those steps. Can you imagine the spectacle of that? All around the proposition, well, Rocky didn't talk so well either. Neither does Joe Biden. Oh, my God. Ro Khanna. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, it's Nick Kale. Join me again on the first Wednesday of the month for WPHT's Veteran Spotlight. It's a program where we shine a spotlight on one outstanding local veteran in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation, celebrating their remarkable commitment to community service and their exceptional service in the military. This Wednesday, July 3rd, we honor retired Marine Corps veteran Colonel Tom Manion for his service and contributions to the veteran community. Presented by Window Nation. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
It was another violent weekend in Philadelphia. Parking officials say the city's crackdown on sidewalk parking is yielding lots of tickets, and Hurricane Beryl makes landfall in the Caribbean.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Using credit cards could soon become a hassle in Pennsylvania. Some in the legislature are considering a multi-million-dollar giveaway to corporate megastores and may force you to pay for parts of your purchase in cash, while small businesses will have to manage an accounting nightmare. This mandate could also expose information about the private purchases you make. Prevent credit card chaos at guardyourcard.com/Pennsylvania. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Listen to every MLB game live.
In the deep left center field, it is high, it is far, it is gone.
Stream minor league affiliates.
The Midwest League home run leader.
And watch the best baseball highlights and look-ins on MLB Big Inning. MLB At Bat is your all-in-one live baseball subscription for only $3.99 per month.
Deep left field, it's gonna go. Alvarez ties the game.
Subscribe to At Bat within the MLB app today. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-6481.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, Paoli. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
All right, that's right. Dom Giordano Show, lightning round today. Tomorrow, already looking at, once this case settles in, to give you more detail on the immunity case. And does it really play out with the Bragg sentencing and the Bragg case? Some people think yes, and we're going to bring you our best to get to the bottom of it. All right, let's go to Jenny in Jersey. What is a great exit? Jenny, what's yours?
Yeah, hi. My favorite is the ending to the Shawshank Redemption. I thought it was very moving when Red finally found his friend after all those years.
Yeah, I thought
on the beach.
Yeah, I thought you were meaning the exit too of getting out of the prison was.
Well, that could be true too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's actually two.
Exactly. Thank you, Jenny. Particularly when he hits the pipe, Dan. Oh my God.
Jenny.
Oh
Good
God,
answer.
to go through the. Pat in Lehigh Valley, Talk Radio 1210. All right, Pat, what's yours?
Hey,
Yep.
mine is Silver.
Lone Ranger.
All right. Is that an exit, though? We're talking about an exit. That's just a brief goodbye, Dan. An exit is the character's out, like bye. You know, I don't think
about your exits.
Yeah, I don't think that qualifies.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah, Drew in Upper Darby. Drew, what's yours?
Hey, Dom, thanks a lot. You know, Dom, when I was little, my mom used to enjoy listening with this guy, and when he found out that he had the early stages of dementia, Alzheimer's, he did a final tour, and it was so inspirational, and you know, it was gut wrenching to watch him sing when he knew that he was going to die at any moment, and that's Mr. Glenn Campbell. I appreciate it, Dom. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Drew. And Glenn Campbell just seems, Dan, one of those people forever young. He wasn't, when he was stricken with dementia, Alzheimer's, he wasn't at all, was he? Was he 50, 55? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I should know. I love the guy.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah. I know, and I agree with you. Very underrated because, you know, he had a sound of his own, etc.
Rhinestone Campbell in his 80s.
I mean, I know that can happen to people at a younger age, Dan, but he just seemed to be incredibly young. You know, I remember when Ronald Reagan's letter was read. Reagan didn't speak, but they read the letter that he knew what was happening, and you know, looking back over his life, that he wouldn't be communicating publicly anymore. The Earl of Tacony on Talk Radio 1210. Earl, how you doing?
Not too bad. I'm going to have to call back about what Trump meant by black jobs. There's no time for that today. But you know how people call and they go on and they drag the call on, and eventually you lose interest and you just kind of miss the point. So I'm going to go George Costanza. Just go out on a high note. Thanks, Dom. Have a good night.
Thank you. Oh, God. Yeah, that was one of the, that's George going out on a high note. Jerk store.
Look at Bruce's,
It's a good line. When he went all the way to Toledo, I guess it was, he found the guy and he's going to do the jerk store line. Bruce got a good one here. Yeah. It's a classic, really. Bruce, who's yours?
Hey, Dom, you know, Glenn Campbell was a fantastic musician. He was also like a session guitar player.
Yeah.
And I believe he might have sat in with the Beach Boys a few times, I think he did. But anyway, my answer is, in the movie The Pride of the Yankees, Lou Gehrig gives his speech, and then he exits the ballpark, slowly walking up the tunnel by himself, and you hear the umpire in the background saying, "Play ball," and it's a very sad moment.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Dan, you know, I look at it, I'm a team player, but, you know, if I'm as good as Lou Gehrig, arguably, his career wasn't as long, but the stats his years were right there with Babe Ruth. I mean, they were. Arguably as good of a player when you look at everything.
Shohei Ohtani.
So, yeah. Well, if he doesn't pitch, he's not the greatest player ever. Ohtani.
Yeah.
Somebody else. Willie Mays still
is. DHing.
Yeah. Scott in Mount Laurel. All right, Scott, who's yours?
I got to go with Julius Erving, Dr. J. They had a whole tour during his final season. Every stadium, every opposing team honored him. And then he needed 36 points in his final home game to get to 30,000 for his career, which was at the time only the third person to do it. And he got 38 that night, and he got it.
You know, that is a great way.
Great answer.
Ted Williams hitting a home run on the last time at bat. That is a good one. But I like Kobe Bryant. Kobe would have kicked the ball up in that last. How many shots did he take his last game?
Doc, not that, man. He played real well that night. Of course, then he was exhausted he got it actually like in the middle of the third quarter, and he was just completely out of gas at that point.
Good stuff, though. That is a good one, Dan. When you see a superstar.
50 field goal attempts that night.
Who? Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, Kobe.
Should have shot 60. I would go with Kobe for more. I'm not satisfied with only 50 shots. Can you imagine? All right, one more. Charlie in northern Pennsylvania. Charlie, who's yours?
I have Hawkeye Pierce, Alan Alda, and MASH, the final scene when they're flying away in the helicopter.
Yeah, MASH, big favorite show, big moment. Dan?
Biggest finale of all time.
Who do you like here?
Jenny in New Jersey with the double-sided answer of Shawshank Redemption, Red finding his friend on the beach and escaping the jail. Also, Walter White, a good one, George Costanza, Lou Gehrig, Dr. J, though. Scott Mount Laurel, a great answer there.
You like the Dr. J?
I do like the Dr. J.
Okay, let's go with the Dr. J today. All right. I'm not the biggest fan of Julius Erving. This is spectacular, but as a player, something missing there. Yeah. I'm funny that way. All right. The Big O.
How?
Speaking of players, the Big O is in the house today, right? Mike is in for Rich today?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that coming up. We're back tomorrow, and we'll see how this court decision plays out. Have a great night, everyone, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Had a devastating knee injury, tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief, the non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics, and since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Ocean City Music Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey.
The satire on all of the Eagles and the Phillies, oh my goodness, it was just too hilarious.
His daughter's amazingly a great singer, but I didn't know everybody in the family was that good of a singer. I absolutely loved it.
Just the mix of the comedy and the singing, you never knew which way they were going to go with it.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at the Ocean City Music Pier in Ocean City, New Jersey on Saturday, July 13th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
If it's been a minute since you've considered an Infiniti, now's the time to check out the Bush Auto Group. At Bush Infiniti of Westchester, we have exceptional offers just for you. Enjoy rates as low as 4.9% for 36 months on Infiniti certified pre-owned vehicles. Plus, every new Infiniti comes with 3 years free maintenance. Don't wait. Visit in-store today at Bush Infiniti of Westchester or online at infinityofwestchester.com. Philly rides with us.
Designers, excavators, engineers, architects, listen up.
What are you doing? We're working here.
If you want to save time, effort, and money on your next underground utility project, start using Pennsylvania One Call System's Coordinate PA application. Coordinate PA is the next generation of utility coordination that allows you to easily transfer and manage your complex projects from start to finish, all the way from the designer to the excavator. Be prepared for your next underground utility project with Coordinate PA.
Makes sense.
Visit pa1call.org to learn more.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Becoming a professional race car driver takes time. Quitting smoking does too. It's not about stopping in one day. It's about starting with day one. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking at cancer.org/smokeout.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. It happens every day.